Okay.
If my character dies, he does have family members who could come back to try to get revenge. So just
Yay!
FYI, Wiz.
Will they also have a name that's not known to the group?
Probably.
Secret
I would hope so.
names. Fantastic. Okay then, ladies and gents. Obviously we're back with the session. Hi to everybody who's watching the stream. I haven't actually advertised this stream, so I might, while I'm talking, kind of copy and paste some links and stuff to see if we can get some more people in, because it's always nice to have people watching. Basically, we left the last session where there was a bit of an explosion. People decided to have a rest. I joked that there was an initiative round because combat was about to start. And now you guys know that that's a joke. There is no combat. And that's pretty much it. You've had a short rest. Everyone's leveled up to level 3.
Mm-hmm.
Has everybody done that?
Yes.
Shade.
No, I have.
Sorry, eating.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, really, without further ado, what are you guys doing?
I should probably hit that short rest button.
I think Adrik
Well,
was about to bash
I
his door down.
literally kicked the door down, and you were like, "And we'll end the session now." So
So Adrik is currently standing on one foot with his other foot in the air.
There you go. You kick the door down.
Sweet.
Okay, you gaze into this room, into the darkness. It's dim, but not completely dark. The fungus that you've seen throughout the rest of the place is dotted around. You also see some slightly sickly looking trees. The back wall of the room that you kicked into has clearly given away completely and opened up into a vast cavern. There's a lot of dirt on the ground. Obviously, it's deep enough for some trees to grow. They don't seem to be like fruiting trees or flowering trees. They're just sort of something oak-like. So nothing that actually produces anything especially useful unless you're a squirrel.
Oi, Druid. Your hame's over here. I step to the side.
What? Sorry, I was on the phone.
Druid's on the phone.
It's a squirrel.
Druid.
He's talking to a squirrel. He lets the squirrel go. It scampers away, goes to wherever it is. That person picks it up. The squirrel was like a ventriloquist and repeats. Not that that means that he could repeat things, but he repeats the message, and then they drop it, and it scurries back, and it's a bit of a. It's less
Everyone
convenient.
knows squirrels are gossips anyways.
Yeah,
Exactly.
They're
I've
totally
nicknamed him.
Druid.
I never said
this
I
is-
was sane.
This is your area of expertise. There's trees ahead.
Indeed. Let's have a look, shall we?
Every other room Adrik has charged headlong into. The moment there's a tree, you're like,
Trees.
oh, okay.
I know what
Ah,
the hell's going
Can't
on.
deal with trees, man.
Old and decrepit. And step in.
Okay, you step into the room, and yeah, as I say, the room's back wall has obviously been sort of broken open by whatever seismic activity's been going on in the area. You're not sure how long ago it would have been, but it's obviously long ago that someone could then grab all that weird fungus that lets plants grow, and they've populated all the little nooks and crannies. The trees are growing. Give me a nature roll, Wiz, since you are a druid. You're probably
I gotta
best
find it.
suited.
Adrik
Where
peeks
is
round
it?
the corner and goes, "Fuck! There was no trap. Bugger. Oh well."
Okay, normally that would be a failure, but I mean, you're a druid. It's like, you know, this is your fucking thing. These trees are again showing the signs of getting enough light to grow, but not getting enough to really flourish. They're growing, but probably a lot slower, and their leaves aren't looking as healthy as they could do. There's a lot of other little shrubs and things dotted around. Very much like the rooms that you saw before, like the one that you set fire to, except there's no herbs planted here, but there's a lot of foliage anyway. It's not going to be difficult to get through, but there's a lot of general foliage, shrubs. Very sort of, some shrubs have got some leaves on, some haven't. It's a general kind of area. You also see there are the remains of some brickwork in the darkness. It's old structures, maybe parts of walls that were built into rooms that were once here, but they're long gone now.
I think there's some remains of structures in the darkness there. Let's step forward.
Careful in there.
Erky.
I'm just gonna go ahead and step through.
Urki just kind of looks out into the darkness, and he's kind of like, yeah, he's not going ahead, but he feels kind of confident with you guys that that nothing's gonna bad happen, and he's decided he's never gonna touch a book again.
Right, I'm gonna walk up to this tree
Yeah.
and inspect.
There's nothing really much more to see about the tree than what you've already determined from it, that it is a regular kind of above ground tree. It's obviously a bit starved of natural light, so it's sort of the equivalent of atrophied. What's the like? It's got distinct pallor, is it, or something like that, where it's not quite the right color, but it is growing. It's probably had to be tended to an awful lot in order to not die, but it's there and it's growing and it's doing its thing.
Okay,
Well,
is it
there's a
an
lot of
oak, a
trees
oak,
here.
conifer?
It's basically an oak.
Okay.
So, we've got trees.
Yep.
We do indeed have trees.
So,
They look like they could do with a good watering.
Okay, as you begin to sort of move around, probably quite stealthily, if you will stop there for a moment, you're wandering around, keeping a lookout for danger, knowing that ultimately some of these things could come alive at any moment anyway, because that's happened to you a few times before. A voice. You can spend some hit dice if you want, Izixs. A voice calls out, echoing slightly through this big cavern. I can see you over there. Yes, come forward. No need for any more violence at all. Come, join us. Let's put an end to this conflict, yes? And it echoes around a little bit, clearly coming from the south.
I turn to everybody and sort of telepathically ask, should we challenge it at all?
Well, it's certainly no kobold.
Definitely not a kobold. They have a very distinctive way of speaking. This voice, I mean, it's difficult to tell the species, but it seems like someone whose main language is probably common.
Huh.
Do you have any friends down here, Erky?
Well, no, not that I'm hoping not, and certainly none that sound like that.
I make my voice 3 times louder for 1 minute.
Awesome.
Opening a book which my Dark Lord pointed me towards back in the library. And boom back. 1 moment. Reveal yourself and you will not be harmed.
The reply back is immediate. I have no doubt of that. No, come, I am not hiding. Come, I'm waiting for you in the grove.
We will not move. You will come to us.
Oh, you'll have to come here soon, I'm sure.
No, this is a trap.
It's a trap.
Well, we know that now.
Do you know
can
the
anyone,
one
like-
good thing about traps, guys? No,
What is
nobody
that?
got a guess at that. The
Go
one
on.
good thing about traps is
They can be sprung.
I'm an awfully good trap springer,
Oh, fucking hell, yes.
Yeah.
and
you
I
are.
continue to walk forwards.
I knew it was going.
I'll move forward as well.
Okay, you...
Well, I'm not just gonna.
You notice
stand
as you're
this.
moving through, because you're on a bit of alert now, you notice at the edges of your vision, and even sometimes fully in your vision, around the sides, you do see that some of the shrubs move a little bit as though swaying in a wind, but there's no wind. There's no wind in here at all. But they're not doing anything threatening.
Not yet.
They're
Do
just...
you command these woods?
Of a sort, I
Adrik,
suppose,
slow
yes.
down.
But come, I can explain everything. Come.
Maybe we should just chop the wood down before we progress.
I've got a better idea.
Oh,
And maybe this guy might be a little. He might feel more like coming out if we start
Guys.
murdering his garden.
A quick thought. I
fucking
haven't
hell.
cast it yet, technically.
Okay, you're just showing them the idea.
Yep,
Oh, good
yep,
God. Okay,
Put these poor decrepit trees out of their misery.
you get the. Let me just give you what you think would happen. You think, I mean, down here, although the soil is moderately moist underfoot, and it obviously goes down pretty deep because there's trees bloody growing here. The wood itself's quite dry. You think that it would probably catch light pretty damn well. You think that the fire would spread pretty quickly, unless it was put out magically. You think that you'd probably quite rapidly be surrounded by an intense inferno. And you'd probably never find out what was in here until everything's gone.
Damn.
Unless
Okay,
it-
well, so we saved that for on the way out, then.
Pretty much, I think.
Wow, you guys, I swear, you're
2 seconds.
psychopathic.
Yes.
All right.
We're overly cautious,
We
as
could
we
still
should
chop
be.
them all down.
Yeah.
It's going to take you a while, although they are a little bit
axes?
pale. Yes, you could chop the trees down. You think you could manage that. It'll take you some time, quite some time. And you've got a lot of shrubs.
I guess we wouldn't necessarily even need to chop them down, because if there's the potential of them being alive, then I suspect after a couple of hits, they'll either fight back or not.
Okay, well, I'm glad I haven't made that bonfire yet. Well,
Try
what do we do,
pick
guys? Do we
one of
just
these
walk
trees
forwards and see what happens? It's worked well for us so far.
I'm gonna walk up to this tree and get.
And what?
So the first person to attack a tree is the druid.
And you're going to kick
I'm
it?
not attacking it. I'm just kicking it.
It-
Well, that's the
See
thing.
what
He,
responds.
Okay,
the
you kick
druid
the tree and
knows-
it's a tree. I mean,
Okay. I
nothing
figured
happens.
that was gonna be.
Now,
I
if any
figured
of
nothing
us-
would happen, but I thought I'd try.
if any of us kick the tree, then we might piss off the druid. But if the druid kicks it, that means it's okay.
Yes.
It's a tree.
It's like the
Only a
it's like
druid
the
can
N
kick a
word.
tree without.
There are certain people who can use the N word and some people that can't. It's all about, the person speaking.
I don't like this, guys.
I don't
Well,
think any of us like this.
There's no chance that we could.
We're the dilemma.
I'm just trying to think of what tricks we can pull out immediately.
Aside from fire.
Well, I mean, fire's a big one, but I think we all decided that that's not good yet.
I mean, you're pretty sure that
Yeah, I
it
don't
would.
feel like running for my life just yet.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I want to find out this apple tree because that's gonna. I'm fairly certain that won't survive the conflagration if it's here.
If it's a normal tree, then probably not. You've also got the twins as well. You're still looking for them.
Yes.
If they're
Well,
somewhere in here,
Let's try not burning prisoners
Whoa!
alive.
I would also like to point
That's why I'm
out
saying we save it for on the way out.
we can do it now and still get paid. Would just like to point that out because we did find one of the signet rings.
you did.
Yeah, but we would like to find two for an even bigger reward.
Or hell,
And maybe they're living bodies.
they're living bodies. I mean, yeah, certainly alive would be double the reward.
Adrik
Okay.
puts up a hand and stops everybody.
Okay.
Kind of looks and goes, "I see somebody."
Yeah, you do. You do see somebody. Just to give you a bit more of a description, this looks like the remnants of an old fort or a keep in the middle of a fort, something like that. It's been ruined for a long time. It wouldn't have been particularly large, but here it is, the remains of. You can see through some of the stonework, which is definitely a different type of stonework than you were used to back in the actual dungeons. Different stonework. So the origin of this craftsmanship and the stone itself is probably different.
Can I have a quick look at the stone? Would I have noticed the stonework? Who it's made by?
Yeah. Give me a history roll. I think it is for you because you've got that stone
Yeah.
nonsense, haven't you?
With
Yeah.
proficiency, right?
Yeah, expertise actually.
Oh, even better.
So history. Click once, click twice, then click that button. Click history.
This is
Damn.
definitely dwarven work. It's not necessarily a style, because obviously the way bricks and blocks are laid and the way it's been more, that's something distinctive that can be identified. It's not from that you know this is dwarven work. It's to do with although it's decayed, you can tell that originally this would have been incredibly good stonework. Not something you recognize the exact origin of, although the 20 bloody close. But you know that wherever this originally came from, the stonework itself was definitely produced by dwarves, even if it wasn't necessarily occupied by dwarves, because the style isn't what dwarves would make, but it was definitely made by dwarves, so it might have been something that they did for someone else.
So, like, for it to be in this kind of state, you're talking this is probably ruins of a couple of 100,000 years.
No. I mean, bear in mind, stonework, depending on the situation, if there's a lot of seismic activity, which clearly there has been, this could be hundreds of years. It doesn't have to be that long ago. It could be 1,000. As you know, and as you proudly remind people often, dwarven stonework lasts a long time. No point fucking piling up a load of rocks and hoping it'll survive. You pile them up, they're there to stay. And this, I mean, it's probably not 1,000. There's
always a way to pile rocks properly.
Yeah, exactly. That's something that a dwarf knows. I mean, the elves are long-lived, but they don't know that even. I mean, so humans definitely wouldn't know that. But yeah, this is definitely something that dwarves built, but it probably wasn't built for dwarves, and it would have been hundreds of years ago. 3, 4, all the way up to 800, probably not 1,000. Why the hell this thing is underground is as big a mystery as why the rest of it's underground, but there you go. As far as what you can see between the stonework, you can see a humanoid shape. It's very dim, it's very dark. You can see the humanoid shape has long hair. Looks like a human, so you're guessing a female. It's difficult because there's definitely something wrong with her skin. Can't quite tell from this distance in this darkness through the crack in the stone exactly.
Oh, I think I might have an inkling of
but
what
she's
this
kind of
might be.
stood there like vacant. Just kind of awake, looking, but not really seeing.
Is that a forest fairy?
Could be a hag.
I'm going to turn back around to Daniel and go, right, we need to split up and get a better surrounding of this situation.
You've come this far! Come in! I promise you will not be harmed! There will be no point in any further bloodshed. Come, please!
I telepathically message to Adrik, anyone with dark vision, go round to the side. I'll walk in front with anyone who doesn't.
So dark vision is me and who?
Niacin, I believe. He's half-orc.
Orkon too, right?
I'm a half-elf, yes. But nobody messes with me, so...
Well, no, that's the point when I'll also, like, basically I'm making sure he's okay with it, then I relay it to everybody else.
Okay.
As I say, unless you're in the middle of combat, I'm going to be pretty flexible with that telepathy. If you're in line of sight and you're not in combat, you can pretty much talk to everyone. I know you have to do it one at a time.
Yep.
But within reason, you're going to get the message through.
Naturally,
I imagine telepathic
pausing for a little
conversation
bit
is
here to make
quick.
sure our shit's straight.
Well, I want to go stealthy in that case, if I'm going to be doing some sneaking.
Go on, give me a stealth roll then.
I'm going to say, like Orkon, it's maybe an idea you don't come anywhere towards my direction if you try to be stealthy.
Well, what I'm thinking is Orkon goes in first, travels farthest that way. Okay, it won't matter anyways. Go ahead.
You think you're being pretty damn stealthy.
Is he
I'll be
holding
heading
up
off this
a
way.
twig with a leaf on it in front of him.
Yeah, you're hiding behind a small shrub.
And he's saying Russell as he moves.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's the Monty Python thing of not being seen. You're hiding behind the only shrub in the field.
Well, actually, no, this is great. No, he's actually picked the perfect shrub, because this one, as he moves, the shrub follows him. It's brilliant.
Uh-oh.
God. It's the perfect cover. Nobody could possibly know he's there.
Apart from the shrub.
Apart from the shrub and then its master and then everybody else.
You promise no harm will come to us.
No, that would be pointless. There's been enough bloodshed already. Come forward.
I don't
How
remember
does
shedding
this
blood.
mystery voice know of our deeds so far?
I motion to Adrik and Niacin to continue heading that way.
Okay,
We will come forward.
Niacin, you can from there. You can get a bit of a better look. You now see the lady that I described to Adrik. She's human, but she's it looks like bark skin, but it's not bark skin. It's not the spell bark skin. It's something else. You've not seen something like this before. The other gentleman is wrapped in furs. And you can tell that he's looking at you and probably at other members of the group. And as Callie asked and confirmed about the not harming, you just started seeing that it's him speaking. He is the one speaking. Give me a nature check, Niacin, please. Fucking hell. Okay. You think this isn't a spell that has made her skin look bark-like. You genuinely believe her skin has become bark, or at least bark-like. Other thing you notice, there is a big tree in the back. Now, the tree is fairly distinctive compared to the other trees because it has no leaves at all. You notice that although its bark is not unusual in of itself, you notice that it's identical in texture to her skin.
She's a dryad of some sort.
Well, she's wearing regular clothes. She looks like a normal human. You know that she's not a dryad. You're pretty sure that she is a human that is looking very vacant, like she's not all there. And her skin texture is exactly the same as the bark from that tree, which, as I say, it's not an unusual bark texture, but it's distinctive enough for you to think, hang on a second, that is too identical to be a coincidence. You can't really see the tree very well, but you can see that there's some bags hanging off it. Some white bags or something. You're not sure.
Okay.
Like quite small bags. Some of them are small, some of them are big. They're just for some reason hanging on the tree.
I'm gonna yell out, man. I see we finally meet Alec.
Ah, you've heard of me. Excellent. Then please come. In fact, yes, you should understand, I hope, unlike my other fellows. You come forward. Yes, I believe we think similarly, perhaps. Come, you would appreciate. And he backs away and he gestures his hands toward the tree behind him. Yes, you will appreciate my work here and how important it is. Come, you of all should appreciate this.
I'm gonna move forward.
Okay, let's all move forward. Let's all move forward.
Okay,
Come on.
you get
We're
the
not leaving
distinct impression that this guy is a druid. The notebook that you got in the study that's written in Druidic, but you can't understand it because it's all jumbled up randomly. And the fact that this guy, the way he's dressed, the way he speaks, and also this just the way he moves, you know this guy is a druid. What the fuck he's doing here, you don't know. But that's probably why these trees are somehow growing. And now you're all a bit closer, so no further movements, please. You notice that there is another person. So you can see her, you can see Belek, the druid, and you can also see this other guy that's slightly further upwards. He's a human as well. He's got armor, a sword. The sword looks awesome. He's got the same bark skin. I say not the spell. Definitely not the spell.
Question.
Yeah?
Do any of these people look familiar to descriptions of the people we're here to save?
I was about to say that.
Yeah, that's precisely what I was thinking.
She, at the back, she definitely, minus the bark skin and the vacant expression, she could definitely fit the description of Sharwin Malister, one of the twin, the female twin that you've been sent to find. This other guy, he could be this Sir Brafford that came through Shafford before. And went along with the group. At this point, you know, if you found the ranger guy, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. You found him with
Guy McFace.
Upstairs, yeah.
Guy McFace. Yeah, you found him upstairs with the rats. you found the signet, one of the signet rings. If that signet ring was from the one missing person, you've almost found everyone now at this point. Assuming that these two are those people, you're fairly sure that they are. Why they've got their skin replaced by bark, you're not 100% sure, and why they're just vacantly looking in your direction without any emotion, you're also not entirely sure.
Would this be the sort of thing that I could Arcana check?
Give me an Arcana check.
Sure thing. One moment. Make sure I'm rolling as the right person.
Paylor's guidance.
Oh, yes, please.
You're going to mutter a prayer. What in all that is holy is going the fuck on? Whoa!
D4
Nice.
it, D4 it, make it as high as you can.
Oh my god. Yeah, give me the D4.
25.
25.
Solid 25.
A 25 crit.
So this one up.
You have not seen something like this before, but you just get tingles and suddenly you figure out what's going on. Or at least some of it. This Bellet guy, who by the way doesn't have bark-like skin, he looks like a regular human, although he's slightly like bloodshot-eyed, like he's not had any sleep for like 3 days or something. You believe that these two, this Sir Bradford and Sharwin, who you believe that's who they are, you believe that there is some kind of connection between them and this tree. In fact, you're pretty sure that this is the tree that you've heard Eki talk about, the goblins have talked about. You think this is where the fruit comes from. And there is a connection between these two and the tree, that somehow it's controlling them, or they're enslaved by it, or you don't know, but definitely there is a connection. You also realize that these things that Niacin thought were bags hanging on the tree, you look at them and they're not. They are cysts growing in the trunk of the tree.
Wow.
Some of them are small, some of them are large. None of them are humanoid sized, because I can tell that that's where some of you were going with it.
Yep.
Some of them are quite low down and
discussing body snatchers the other session.
Fucking hell. And one particular cyst looks a bit unusual because it's mostly dried out and it's quite wrinkly, and it's kind of like a big fist sized on the trunk. Like there's something in it that's, what sort of size would it be? I mean,
apple-sized, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, that sort of size, yes. And it's distinctive because it's wrinkled and slightly cracked, like it's dried out and whatever's inside of it's going to come out. All the other ones are still quite fleshy and slightly off-white colour. You get... Yeah, this is not a good thing. This is not a good thing at all. There is some dark shit going on with this tree. If I didn't need to say that, I don't think I did, but I'm going to say it.
No, that's totally fair.
Dang evil trees.
Please, you've almost made the final step. Please come forward. As you can see, the previous group that came through have not been harmed. Now they serve a greater purpose. Perhaps I could put your mind...
Been harmed enough.
No, perhaps if I put your minds at rest. But please ask me anything. I could answer your questions, and then we can get past all this bloodshed. Those creatures that serve me, they'll repopulate their numbers in no time. But you could help forward the ambitions, the glorious future that awaits. Please ask me anything. To what can I say to put your minds at rest?
Oh, great. What purpose do you have for this enslavement of these two individuals?
He dramatically rolls his eyes and his head, and it's like, they're not enslaved no more than I am. We all have a greater purpose to solve. You see, the tree, it's beautiful. No, isn't it not beautiful? It lives, and yet it looks dead. And my research has only just begun into its gifts that it can give on the world. I've tried my best to spread the gifts, but with your help, we can do great things. Please, as you can see, they are now much calmer, and they're not anxious like you are. Please, come forward, and we can grant you all this great gift.
Can they all move?
And he looks around, and Sharman and Sir Bradford kind of move around. They're not moving around like undead. They're moving around normally, but it's almost as if they're not interested in anything other than just doing whatever silent decision is going on in their head. They look at you, they're focused on you, and you think that they could probably put up a fight, but you don't think that there's they're not interested in anything anymore. They're very calm.
Do they retain their faculties?
I'm assuming you're asking Belek that.
Yes.
Faculties? Well, as you can see, they are, of course they are. You can see that they're in communion with the Gulthias tree. They are now one with it to serve a greater purpose, not these frailties of death and destruction. I mean, what purpose did you have coming down here and slaying so many of these creatures in here? For what? Treasures? Death? No. The Gulthias tree only wishes to grant its gifts across the land. What greater purpose is there to grant gifts?
And Adrik
What
turns
sort
around.
of gifts?
The gifts of life, of eternal purpose. There is no confusion when you join. No confusion at all. Your purposes is set, not like the endless conflict and strife. You must have seen this, even ignoring your journey down here. The surface is rife with poverty and hunger and terrible wars where blood is spilled and the rich dominate the poor. And who wins? Who is delighted at this? Only evil is delighted at this. But the Gulthias tree wishes to bring order, bring purity to the world, and surely that is a great gift where there will be no conflict, no suffering.
Does the Gulthias tree instruct you on how to achieve this goal?
He leans back and places a hand on the tree, and then he kind of slightly grotesquely strokes one of the cysts. It's kind of a disturbing act, which kind of makes you cringe a little bit, and he turns around and says, "We commune, yes. It tells me what I need to do my purpose, as it tells these two, Sir Bradford, yes, and what was her name now? Sharwin, yes, they serve a purpose. We all have our part of the puzzle that we must assemble into for the solution to work. Please, there is no need for any further violence. Come forward, and you can join them, and there will be no suffering, nor conflict, no more death. Isn't this a worthy goal?" Now, I know, Shade, you've been trying to say something for a while, Shade. Yeah.
Adrik turns around to Callie
Arr.
and is going to poke her in the chest. And then, as he does that, he just pokes her in the center of her chest and then points at his head.
I'm like, go on.
Do I see Adrik poking Callie?
Yes, because you're focused in that direction. They're not hiding, yes.
Alright, then I would like to fire at this guy.
You are literally going to fire at this guy.
Yes, I'm going to fire an arrow at his head if I can.
Okay.
Oh man.
Okay. Wait for wait for the telepathy to kick in, and then we will pull that off if that's what needs to be done. Yep.
When the telepathy kicks in, Adric's gonna go. They're enslaving them, by the seams of it. I don't know what you tell when you did your thing. I know you looked really hard on it.
Oh no, it's as bad as it's possible to be. I was gonna string this out for a little longer and find out what we can about how unreasonable this guy is before we slaughter them. We need to keep the other two alive, if possible.
So
try to break their connection with the tree.
So I'm gonna burn them alive.
No fire, not yet. We want to see whether we can keep the other two. We make more money that way, and it'll look good.
You think that you could probably... There's a 50-50 chance of using something like Burning Hands and it catching properly and starting a big blaze. Something like Firebolt, it's probably less likely because that's mostly contained magically, and therefore once it hits the target or hits a bit of dirt on the floor, it probably won't ignite. But the Burning Hands... It might catch and start a big blaze, just to give you warning of that possibility.
What would happen if we burnt the tree? Do you think?
Okay.
The main tree.
I will answer that question because of knowledge that you may have, because you've had an incredible, and for a level 3 character, you've had an exceptional insight into this tree.
It's true.
You're pretty damn sure it's as vulnerable to fire as any other tree. You don't know whether or not those two, how they would react to the tree being burned. You suspect that the connection that exists, from what you understand, they would probably end up fucking going nuts and trying to kill whoever sets fire to the tree. It would be a good safe bet. You don't know what would happen if the tree was actually killed. You don't know what would happen to them in that circumstance, though.
Yeah, it's...
That's so
think of it
unknown.
this way. I turn to Adrik, and once again, this is quick telepathy. I'm like, think of it this way. Imagine your god is... Imagine Pelor is literally guiding your actions, and suddenly he's been stabbed and suddenly seizes his fist around your head. What would that do to you? It would hurt a lot. You'd go mad with pain. That's what might happen to them. We could kill it, but we might lose them. We need to find another way around this. Killing the druid's the best option. Or better yet, incapacitating him and torturing him for information.
Alright then. I turn round and I guiding bolt the...
Okay, we're going to start initiative
druid.
then.
I'm gonna need some damn.
As Callie says that, I just turn around.
Now, Orkon did say first that that's what... So basically, you've had this telepathic communication, and basically, as you turn round, Orkon's going to get his action, his first action. What I want, Orkon, is I want...
Yes.
Let me roll something. Oh yeah, you get a surprise attack.
Oh, brilliant.
Excellent.
I mean, look, a
Was there reception
2?
then?
A fucking 2?
So,
Remember, you get advantage and sneak attack damage.
yes, I can get advantage in that case.
And this is a surprise round. You get this, and then yeah, we just kick in normally.
Is he gonna one-shot the boss?
And yeah, my due to I've taken my assassin archetype. If I score a hit against this creature, it can become a crit. Correct?
Yeah.
Actually, yes. You did say you'd become that, and yes, you do have that. Yeah, this potentially could be quite devastating.
My bow goes off.
That is nice. It is a hit. It counts as a crit. Give me another d6, please.
Bellic's the one guy we want alive.
Your sneak attack damage.
Yep.
Double.
And
Because
what
it's a crit.
was my sneak attack here?
I can't believe he rolled a fucking 2.
Dang, where's my sneak attack damage?
I think it's 2d6 at this point.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, it's only going to be about 2d6.
So you'd roll 4d6.
4d6.
Yes. So 4d6.
Damn.
Kathwank.
Wow.
25 damage.
Okay, you hit this guy solidly in the chest. Now he's wearing some furs of some sort and other bits of scraps of armor. You think that if this is all flavor text, obviously. You think if he wasn't wearing that armor, he'd be dead. This arrow thunks into him, and he screams out in pain. His screams echo unusually far through the cavern, and yeah, stuff comes to life around you. Little shrubs all over the place. Yeah, they're clearly not happy. So let me just move all those to the token layer.
So you're talking about the shrub that he was walking alongside.
It would be funny. It would be funny if that was true. What happened? It would be hilarious.
No, you have to now. You have just
Fine.
Just
You
move on
don't
up
realize
there. Just
that
move on
means
up
that
there.
he's immediately...
Trying to put a shrub right next to me. Fine, okay,
I don't
thanks.
care.
I mean, I'm gonna just. I mean, Urki has stayed right the way back. That's actually quite amusing.
Oh no, that's a problem for him.
I don't know. They don't seem to be particularly concerned about anyone other than, I suspect, their boss and the person that just shot him.
Hi. That if that hit that I just did hit me, I'd be down at this point, pretty much. So.
Really? I'd still be alive.
I would be alive, but only just.
Well, you've got your extra 8 hit points, don't you?
Yeah, that's the only reason why I would be alive.
I'd be at -7, so actually
Pretty sure.
-8. Sorry.
I'm kind of glad that Daniel rolled very high on initiative because he's kind of just been standing there waiting.
He's like, can we
This
kill
is
them
not
yet?
his area of expertise.
What you mean?
Talking.
Weirdness going on.
Not so much the talking, he has no idea what the hell's going on here.
Okay, let's see if I. Yeah, I think I've got all of those little dudes. Actually, there's.
That's a fucking lot of people.
I don't think
That's
I've.
alright, they're all twigs, aren't they? I'll just burn them.
No, we need to not burn them. Well, at least not with burning hands, okay? Like, Sacred Flame's cool, but...
Okay.
We're burning.
Okay, if you want to suffocate down here, but then I'm gonna be basically and fundamentally booking it as far from here as possible.
What if you sniped Belek?
Didn't Orkon basically almost just snipe him?
I mean, he wouldn't have had to roll much more to insta-pop him. I mean, really, that was... Yeah, when I remember... Because you did mention you were going assassin before, and I know when you mentioned it's like, oh, so I'm an assassin, so if I hit, then it's like, oh, shit, yes, it is. Fuck, I shouldn't have given you a surprise attack. But the guy did not spot you, even with a fucking 8. You rolled an 8 sneak,
Yep.
and he couldn't see you!
He was
Almost
just
minimal.
too busy monologuing.
He
That's
was.
the problem with antagonists.
Never monologue.
Well, he
Yeah,
noticed
guys,
me
guys.
before, but forgot I was there.
I mean, he knew that there was a group coming forward. The clumsy armor wheel wearers were pretty much like, yeah, I know where you are. I think there's like, what, 5 or 6 of them, I think the goblins said, and, oh, well, never mind, they'll, you know. And it's like, you know, so he didn't know Orkon was there. I thought he just did. I thought it wouldn't make any difference. And it's like, then he rolls a fucking 2.
I'd like to point out that it wouldn't have mattered if you'd given him the surprise round or not. Just the fact that you let the attack go through. Because that guy hadn't had a turn in initiative, Izzy would have got advantage anyway, because that's what the assassinate does.
Yeah.
And
I mean, he
if
was
hits,
fucked.
it would have
The
been a critical.
moment he failed that perception to notice that Orkon was there, the moment he failed that, he was gonna get hurt a lot. A lot.
Well, actually, what he rolled in the initiative, it wouldn't have mattered. He just still.
But at least others would have had the opportunity to possibly help out, and then there wouldn't have been a surprise attack. But either way, the point
Try and
is...
get past Daniel and Adrik.
Ready to play whack-a-mole, Daniel?
Right then. Okay. The forest comes alive.
Orkon need help with the shrub.
The forest comes alive. Shrubs start moving around. Now you can identify which dead shrubs are actually dead shrubs and which ones are actually these horrible twig blight things. And stuff happens. Callie, this arrow whistles from the darkness from where Orkon is standing more or less in plain sight. Belek doesn't see it coming. Somehow doesn't see it coming. It strikes him in the chest. He howls in anger and the forest starts coming alive. What do you do?
Well, okay, so first off, that ludicrous arcana check, do I have any information as to, like, getting these people free from this ridiculous thing?
You don't know. I mean, you'd maybe have to study them, study how the tree reacts to image damage to them, how much damage to the tree reacts to
Okay,
them.
so in the meantime, we just gotta take
From a
things out.
completely out of character perspective, knocking them out before we kill the tree might help.
Well, one of the spells I learned, and that my lord gifted to me, was Hold Person.
Oh! Is that a second level spell?
It is.
And you haven't had a long rest since you leveled up, no?
Yeah, but he
Short
doesn't have
rest.
to prepare spells, he
Short
just
rest.
knows
Warlocks,
spells, he's a
let's
warlock.
remember that.
That is true. Warlocks are weird. Yeah.
Yep.
Weird warlocks.
Yep. So I got all my spells back.
Okay,
So
that is true. That's
Belek's
fine.
nearly dead, so we'll just finish him off and you hold the other two.
Okay, cool.
Kill the
In that
shroud.
case,
And if they become a problem while they're held, I can just burn them and they don't get to save.
Well, we can
No.
just...
we
No,
don't
we can knock them
want
out.
to burn them.
We want to
make
try and keep
more
them
money
alive.
with them alive.
Yeah.
I like how the cleric that's good wants to kill everything.
I want to burn. I want
Kill
to burn
Belek,
all the trees.
hold and knock out the other two, and then burn the rest.
Malik, that's been the theme since the beginning
Yeah,
of this
this is
campaign.
true.
I mean, I'm all for setting fire to this entire thing after we looted of apples.
Yeah,
and
once we've left.
take what we can. We are going to burn this fucker down, but not while there's valuable things inside that we should have. Right, in the meantime, though, I'm thinking that, yes, that's actually a fantastic idea. I should totally hold person the fat barbarian dude that I can... Well, the knight that I can see.
Yeah, knight would be a better description.
Yeah.
So you're hold personing them,
Yep.
as in Sir Bradford.
DC is 13.
Sir Bradford, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Sir Bradford, DC 13. It is it Will?
Yep.
Yes,
Wisdom. Damn! Okay, well, that was one spell popped.
Whole person's great. If it works. Yeah.
Hey, you can't win every time. It's fine. Now, what do I even do for a bonus action? None of my spells are bonus action. None of my cantrips. Oh well. Right, so, in that case, I'm gonna move to a slightly more advantageous position. I'm gonna sidestep. Whoop, let's actually move. I'm gonna sidestep. 1, 2, 3.
That it?
Yeah, I think I'm fine here. I sort of, pass my arms across as I'm fairly certain that Daniel is going to charge.
It's a moderately safe assumption. Daniel, after Belek the Outcast suddenly got a nice pointy brooch on his chest, Callie kind of pointed her finger aggressively at Bradford, and Bradford seemed unfazed. What are you going to do?
So, Belek looks really hurt. doesn't he?
I mean, he not only did not see that coming, you think that was like probably half a centimeter from his heart kind of arrow. He's not happy.
Yeah.
He's functioning, but probably not by much.
Okay. I'm going to move to there then.
Okay,
And I'm going to whack Belek.
go for it.
This is an open area. All the whacking.
No more
No,
doorways.
that's crap.
I mean,
Well, yeah, that could
he
have
hasn't
been better.
even had chance to cast Barkskin on himself.
Guessing
You-
this guy's
feel
gonna drop
embarrassed
like a
yet?
ton of bricks.
You slice down toward Belek. He's still staggering back from the surprise friendship arrow. And he just can't handle quite so much
Surprise
friendship.
halberd.
Well, that wasn't a surprise. That was just like a slow train wreck from his point of view. You just like clunk, 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 swipe. That's pretty much it. And there wasn't
Not
really...
surprised, but he's still got a halberd sticking out his chest now as well.
I mean, yeah,
And a large red smear from where it entered his shoulder.
you slice down. You slice down on Belek, and you go straight through his collarbone, deep into what his first rib stops the blow, but it doesn't fucking matter. At this point, his eyes roll back in his head, and he just slumps to the ground, and yeah, that wound bleeds like a little bastard, and he's dead.
Do any other people here stop moving? Like, do the twig blights suddenly stop giving a shit?
Actually, nothing seems to change that you can see within the fraction of a second that it takes for him to slump dead to the ground. So you can't see that anything's
Right.
changed yet.
I'm now going to action surge.
Yes, okay.
I'm going to whack the guy in front of me. Non-lethally.
Okay, so you did flat of the halberd kind of
I
thing.
am not rolling well on attack.
Yeah, unfortunately, the flat of your halberd, he just kind of like he's despite the fact that he looks vacant in the face, they're still agile. They're still actually pretty determined to not get hit, and he just kind of hops out the way. Yeah, he's definitely unhappy. He's wearing chainmail and has got a shield, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Okay, well,
nothing
that's
happens.
me done.
Okay, that is it. Yeah, good attempt for the surge. Bloody hell, I can't believe
Yeah, I
Belix.
just rolled like shit.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I love the alacrity with which we killed Bellic.
I mean, yeah. Okay, Niacin, for what it's worth, a twig blight next to you attacks you.
Okay.
Does a 12 hit you?
Nope.
Didn't think it would somehow. Twig blight stays exactly where it is. You see, everybody, well, everyone who can see this obviously sees it. A huge frog that's like, it's like human-sized. It must weigh like 50 kilogram kind of frog.
What the fuck?
It hops out of a bit of mulch that was in the ground. It was clearly just kind of lurking underneath the leaf and the soil and the various other bits, the debris on the ground. And it seems panicked. As much as you can tell, a frog is panicked. And it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it
That
flees.
is animal companion.
Party, we've got a frog.
It's gonna take an
Is that
action
his
to
animal
dash.
companion, or it's somehow him and he's transferred his
I was
consciousness?
about to say.
I mean, unless he somehow transferred his spirit into this hidden fucking ground frog thing.
No, maybe he was a frog to begin with.
No,
Yes.
his body is still exactly there. So unless he possessed this human druidy guy, you think that this probably isn't Bellic in any way.
Quick, Callie, kiss the frog.
What?
I'll work on it.
And the frog wriggles through a gap in the rocks, deep in the shadowy crevice, and you lose sight of it.
Well, that happened.
Sir Bradford, as he sort of sidesteps your clumsy swipe, Daniel. I mean, you were taking 2 actions in 1 turn, so I mean it's fair enough. It was second one was a bit
It was
hasty.
the whirl of halberd.
Exactly. I mean, you can't hit everything. He decides he does not like you at all, and he's gonna swing for you. I don't think that's gonna do anything. That's not really a huge amount beyond that.
Oh, thank goodness.
Okay.
This
I mean,
between
that
me and
is
him's just
a
going to sound
lot
like
of
a smithy.
bonuses.
Just going to be clink, clink, clink.
Okay, he moves himself between you and the tree. It seems to be quite obvious that he's getting his back to the tree. Adrik!
I'm not allowed to burn things.
Well, I mean, you can burn things. You just fear that it's probably quite easy for you to set most things on fire if you do burn things. Firebolt should probably be okay. But
I haven't got firebolt.
have you not?
Sacred Flame?
No, I'm Sacred Flame. Sacred Flame's ready.
There'll be a time to burn the tree, but perhaps subdue its guards first.
And get them out of the
You think
line of
they
fire.
could take a bit of
literally.
damage, don't you?
Yeah, but like, let's just make sure it's non-lethal. Like the
Just come and
not
bonk
killing
the guy on
people
the
kind
head.
of non-lethal.
Adrik doesn't. I don't do non-lethal. Right.
Well,
We're
then
meant to be
kill some
saving
twig
these
blights
guys,
with
that's
me
why
and
we're
leave them for
here.
Daniel then.
They may be too far gone, though, is the problem.
Doesn't
We
he
have
even
to
try?
try.
15.
If there's one thing I could agree with this druid
20.
on, it's that all life is sacred. Let's try to keep that promise here.
I'll move there and I will bop Sir Bradford on the head with my hammer.
Okay. Normal or non-lethal?
Non-lethal. We'll go since
Okay.
everybody's so concerned about saving the fucking idiots.
You're the fucking life cleric. Seriously.
Oh, that should be
Give me,
advantage. Sorry.
give me another d20, yeah.
15.
15. I'm afraid that it hits his armor and doesn't do anything.
He's wearing chain and his shield, so I'm guessing his armor class is 18 at least.
Possibly.
Is that it, Adrik?
That's it. Adrik just goes and attempts to bop him on the head and goes, At least you'll do better, Daniel.
Oh yeah, people can't see Urki on the I've just suddenly realised the stream. No one can see Urki unless he's actually in sight of the players. Lol.
Yeah, he's completely far off.
He wandered off somewhere. It's fine.
I would have thought he'd have been following us.
He was following you. He was a bit unsure about the crazy druid dude. So he's gonna
The
actually.
crazy druid dude is gone now.
Yeah, it's probably why he's moving up. I'll
There is no
I'll
Bella.
retcon that that's why he's moved up now. Got no problem with that. He is going to let's have a little look. Yeah, okay. I know what I'm going to do now. He is going to turn around and smack this thing. No, he's not. He's going to fail miserably to hit a bush. Okay, we have a twig blight. The actual twig blight that he just attacked is going to turn around and see that he's attacking. He's going to look over to the tree, kind of torn, like it's a bit indecisive as to what it should do.
It should totally protect the tree.
No, it's gonna attack Urki, because at the end of the day, there's not much it can do while Urki's around, because it's gonna end up. Oh my god! Right.
Its indecision was
Yeah,
too much.
it ended up doing nothing. That twig blight moves to there. It's Niacin.
Hi, Blight.
Well, it might still be just indecisive. This is just it attacking to look like it's busy.
You think?
Wiz, when it comes to your turn, you know now's a good time for wild shape.
Oh, I know.
Does a 14 hit you, Niacin?
It actually does.
2 points of piercing damage. I'm critically wounded by the angry bush.
Squeaky.
Okay, next twig blight. Where the hell is this twig blight? I've lost track of it. I think it's one of the ones around the tree.
It's one side.
Yeah, it's the one farthest left of the tree.
Oh, these are slow bastards as well. Oh, God, really? It can't actually get advantage on anyone.
Yeah, you can.
No, it can't.
But it can move into range of my halberd.
It can. It doesn't know that that's a thing. For starters, I mean.
I know, that's great.
And it doesn't get it advantage, so it's going to get between the tree and Adrik and attack Adrik. For what it's worth, because it's not really worth much, is it? Oh, bloody hell, 17, 5 damage. Does that hit and hurt?
That doesn't hit me.
Oh.
This isn't the Sunday group. We have armor class in this group.
And hit points.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
You didn't roll like a 1 and a 2 for your level 2 and 3.
No, we've been taking all average.
Yeah,
Yep.
honestly, 2 of them ended up rolling for hit points, and out of 2 levels, they got 1s, 2s, and 3s for their hit points. And they were the combat classes.
Hard luck.
Adrik has 19 AC.
Yeah.
17 doesn't even he just sees something
Boink.
gnawing at his at his foot, and he's like, huh.
Okay, this one's going to do this, even though I know that it's a bad idea.
The closer it gets to Daniel.
Oh boy, that's a lot of targets there.
Well, I'm pretty sure that hits, but the damage was great.
It doesn't matter, it's enough.
Wow.
It's literally made of twigs.
Thing is yeah, it's just, yeah, not good. Okay.
Adrik just
Oh,
turns
I
and
guess
goes,
these
"Da,
are just
Daniel."
ads.
Okie dokie. Sharwin is just going to... Well, Adric's closer to the tree. Daniel's the one... What would it do? I think Adrik.
Aye.
Magic missile.
Exactly.
How does she cast this?
With words.
There's
And-
unfortunately nothing I can do about that.
Nope. No, there is
Hit
not.
me. Hit me, baby, one more time.
So that's
Da-da-da-da.
3d4 plus 3, I believe.
Yep. If she's hitting all three on me, yeah.
Oh yeah, she's focusing on the person closest to the tree. I'm not even going to lie about her decision making at this point. There is no point. That was...
Is
We
it
need to
her
try to get them
decision
away
making or
from
is
the
it the
tree.
tree's decision making?
We need to try to get them away from the tree.
8 feeble points of damage.
Oof. Hard of luck.
Adrik stands there and goes, "That tickled, darling."
You literally say that. You weirdo.
Yeah.
You're a weird person. Okay, other than that, she is going to stand her ground. Yes. Orkon, you get another go.
Yes.
You got a twig suddenly. You know that twig you've been hiding behind that was like coincidentally
right?
moving along with you? It's just there.
Turned around.
It's turned around. Now it's attacking you. It's indecisive. First it's hiding, it's helping you hide. Now it's attacking you.
I feel betrayed. That's what I feel.
Well, Bellic was betrayed by his own shrub.
I mean, the net gain here is in your favor, definitely.
So I want to switch over to my rapier.
Okay, so
And
you
I
have
would
to
like
you have to
to-
drop your bow and pull your rapier.
Yes. And I would like to attack it with my rapier. Now, given that this has this twig technically acted in this combat,
Oh. No, it has not.
then that means I get an advantage.
Go for
And
it.
critical hit. And
Maybe a
it-
critical hit.
dead.
Well, it's the critical hit only counts if the creature is surprised.
Yeah.
No.
So unless it's suddenly not realizing I'm here
If
for some
if
reason.
you've got advantage on it, with the
That's
assassination thing.
Are you sure? I thought that
crit.
was just a sneak attack.
That
I'll
was-
double check that. I'll tell you what. Just roll the attack, and it may or may not even matter. Because if you miss, it doesn't bloody matter.
You
If
have
you do,
advantage on attack rolls against any
Well,
creature that
it's
hasn't
a crit
taken a turn
anyway,
in the combat.
naturally.
it's not that bit that we were discussing. It's whether or not it's automatically a crit, which is
addition, any hit
irrelevant.
It is
In
irrelevant.
addition, any hit you score against a creature that is surprised is a critical hit.
Not surprised.
So no. Never mind.
I thought that the critical hit, it doesn't
Only
matter
if they're
anyway.
surprised.
Even without the crit, it would have still been dead. You just extra deaded it.
It was a crit though.
Yeah, exactly. It was just naturally a crit, so it doesn't matter. It's just dead.
So I drop my bow, and then I reach for my rapier and pull out the rapier, and it just happens to slash the blight as I pull it out accidentally, and it just kind of falls apart.
What I think is that suddenly the shrub turns around, it's got evil eyes, and it goes to attack you, and you drop the bow, you throw it down on the ground to try and get your sword out. You pull the sword out, and you realise that you threw the bow at it, and it crushed it. And you're like, oh,
Oh,
yeah, that
okay.
works.
All right, can I still move at all?
Of course you can.
Right, then I will step out here.
Pick your bow up.
I can pick that up later.
I won't be a bitch and say, well, you didn't say that you picked it up now that you're in the town.
I'm planning on picking my bow before
Yeah.
before we have
Unless
to
you
leave
get
here.
teleported away or flee for your lives because Adrik set fire to everything. If it's a peaceful departure, I will assume you've picked up your bow.
Yes.
I was just thinking in case you wanted to use it again this combat.
It's 5 feet. So I could possibly get over to the other blight over here, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to move up in this general vicinity then.
Okay, cool. You've cornered that blight. Okay. Niacin, you've surrounded by the most vicious and powerful creatures that I've thrown at you during this campaign. What do you do?
Considering that most things are dead at this point, I'm just gonna
And axes!
nah.
They've
I'm
never
gonna,
let
like,
you down.
Walk away. I'm just gonna ignore these two.
They will get opportunity attacks if you walk away from them.
That's okay. I'm
Disengage.
going to do something
Just
first.
turn into something big on top.
Exactly.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Where is it? I've lost it. Where is wild shape? There's wild shape. Oh
Yay.
my god, that's a lot of text.
That's fine. We know
You
what
just
wild
dropped
shape
that whole
does.
text on him.
Okay, so I am wild shaping into a giant. Where is it? Giant spider.
Okay.
Lovely.
Aha! Because this is actually useful.
Oh, whoa, he just vanished as opposed to running
Giant
off screen.
spider. Okay. Now, can you actually see anything at the moment?
Nope.
Okay, represents character. Well, technically...
Oh, hecking yes, we can entangle them in webs.
Yes.
Yes, and then carry them away from the tree. Yes, Wiz, you're a god.
If nothing else, he should spin a good tail at the bar.
Okay, can you
Oh,
now
yeah,
see
definitely.
anything, Wes?
Yeah, I can see things.
Fucking hell, where do I even put you? You're kind of clambering
Is
on
it?
that wall there.
Okay.
You're huge.
Can you move
It
yourself?
I didn't realize that the spider was going to be that big, but okay.
I mean, yeah, you can be in the same square as the twig blight if you want, but yeah, if you're gonna move, then you have to move off its tile.
I can't see the other twig blight because the wall's in the way now. But anyway, it's fine. Alright, well, I'm not even gonna bother with those two. What's the range on this thing? Okay. Yeah, I can get her. Question is, do I go for her or him?
Her first.
You think her?
Yeah.
She can
Yeah.
still spellcast, but okay. Alright.
Well, yeah, except she won't be able to move her arms as much. It might mess
Yes.
with somatic elements to spells. And last I checked, magic missile requires one of those.
Yeah, unless you're grappling her, officially grappling her, she's still gonna be able to cast spells.
Doesn't the web technically do a grapple?
It's a
Does it restrain,
it's a
doesn't it?
restrain which would prevent somatic gestures, I believe.
Yep, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, so I'm gonna web.
Okay. How far away? So you're gonna web her.
Yes.
Well, it's within the short range of your web, so you'll get no disadvantage. Are you actually able to use the giant spider sheet and click on its things?
No.
Okay.
If I click on them, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I was double checking because the way it works is sometimes it's nice and sometimes it's not. Actually, I can get rid of some of these character sheets, so I can get rid of his and replace it with a spider. So you're going to web her. I'm going to roll this then.
Well, damn.
Well, I mean,
So, we've webbed one of them. Thanks.
yeah, you spend your action, and
Well, my bonus action was transforming, so my action, yeah, is webbing.
okay, she's basically here. I'm not sure why it was doing 3+ damage though.
Yeah, it doesn't have damage.
No,
I think it was just taking the fact that it was a crit
It's
and basing
weird.
it off your dexterity.
yeah, maybe something like that. But either way, yeah, she is. You shoot this web at her, and you've like, okay, this is a bit weird. I kind of remember this. I'm gonna shit on her now, and it all goes, which is it's not exactly what you're doing, but you know what I mean. You're turning your ass in her direction and letting rip. So it covers her with your sticky white stuff, and she can't move. She seems to be relatively well trapped. Good God.
The other reason why you web her and not him is her strength saves probably not as good.
That's
yeah.
the thought. I can try hold personing this guy again, and then we can just get them away from the tree.
Well, I'm gonna move. I know it's gonna give advantage attacks to the other two dudes, but I just not concerned.
What was your initiative again? It was somewhere between Orkon and the Twig
5.
Blight.
He got an
Five.
8, he was just after Orkon.
Yeah, well, 5, 8 doesn't really matter.
Yeah, he got an 8.
8.
Oh,
Okay.
the actual roll. Yeah.
Cool. Well, we're going to keep that because that's what's going to happen. Okay, the Twig Blight. What do we
Wait,
have?
I want to move.
Well, then move then,
sorry.
if you want.
There.
Okay, they're going to get 2 opportunity attacks against you.
Yes.
This is when both of them crit and knock you out of form.
Okay, Giant Spider has 14 AC, so one of them does not manage to harm you, so take 2 points of piercing damage. Are you able to modify your hit points?
Already
Yep,
done.
yes, you are. Awesome. So yeah, they didn't do shit. So the Twig Blight at the bottom of the tree is going to move forward. Why can't I use my wheel ball to actually move anymore? Oh, bloody hell, come on. Okay, that's as far as he can move. I hate Twig Blights, they're so goddamn slow. Okay.
What, they only move 25?
20.
20. Oh wow, that's slow even for small things.
I mean, they're just not very fast creatures. I mean, small things don't automatically go slower than 30. It's just that it can coincide in certain creatures. It's like kobolds, they have 30, but they're small.
Kobolds have 30. I feel cheated.
Yeah. Oh, they're nippy little creatures. I mean, if you're going to tell me that a domestic cat, has the same movement speed as a human being. Okay, so that Twig Blight is got advantage because you've got Sabrafford. So Adrik. 18.
Yeah. He said his AC is 19, so that doesn't.
I couldn't remember. I've got a lot of other numbers in my head at the moment. I can't hear what he's saying anyway. Shade.
I think he stepped away, but
He's got Splint and a shield. He's got 19 AC.
If he's got 19 AC, then that misses, obviously. Are you
Yes.
back with us now? Good.
Yeah, sorry. I
Alright.
went for a pee. Aye, that does nothing.
Okay. Callie
You guys
All
want the
hell.
old person again?
has broken loose.
I think, Callie, I think you should do some gardening.
Okay. Let's just remove a Twig Blight. Let's say that one from the board.
Your Eldritch Blast removes that Twig Blight from the board.
It's good gardening.
gardening by fire.
Well, it's not even fire. It's just raw force. It's like a magic missile equivalent. It's just energy.
The force damage is kind of like a magical punch.
Yes.
Yeah. Pretty much.
I was disappointed that Sharwood's punch on Adrik didn't do more, but can't have everything. Anything else, Callie?
I literally could. You'd have done the damage, and I'd have just went heal, damage, heal.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm going to walk closer to the tree. Move her around there.
Okay.
And then, do I have enough time to perform an investigation check on it? From where
You've
I
taken
am.
your action. You're not going to get anything more in a short amount of time. So you're going to have to wait until a full action or out of combat.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering what I could do with a bonus action at this point.
I always say you can glug a potion in with a bonus action, even though technically it's an action. I'm like,
Okay, well that's cool. Doesn't really help me here though. But yeah, I'll pass it over then.
okay, Daniel. A giant spider seems to have come
I
to your
know,
help.
Daniel's mildly alarmed by this, but it doesn't appear to be hostile, so he's going to focus on dying from.
You know you've got a freaky fucking druid
Yeah, I know.
that changes shape.
And he's seen the web, and he's put two and two together. It's
Oh,
still
he's
slightly
smart.
alarming, though.
It is, well, yes, it's a fucking giant spider. It's a
Oh,
fairly.
wait, I got advantage.
I'm gonna use two of my arms to hug Neil quick.
Oh fuck.
Oh, that wasn't any better. And I'm going to
Okay.
do my secondary.
Doink
No,
doink.
I'm not hitting anything.
Well, you're hitting him.
Push.
It's just
Oh,
his
yeah, I'm
armor and his
hitting.
shield. I
I
mean,
did
basically.
say that this fight was going to sound like an armory.
Yeah, I mean, he basically deflects the first halberd strike, and then you swing the butt of your halberd around, and it just hits him in the chainmail, and it just doesn't seem to do anything. I mean, he moves a bit, but it's clearly not suffered any damage from it. Okay, you doing anything else?
No, I'm good.
We have another Twig Blight, because, you know, the Twig Blights are clearly the champions of this encounter.
Damn straight. They're a force.
This one's going to run, and it can get to Daniel's side. It gets to about here.
Yeah, I bet it does. He's
It
jacking
gets no further.
Pop!
Okay.
Like, finish twirling
Wait,
on
the
the big
frog's
guy in
still
front.
in
Daniel
initiative?
spins round and whacks the shrub
Yes,
that's sneaking
yes.
up
The
behind
frog is still in initiative, although you can't see it. It is now no longer in initiative.
Oh.
Secret frog plots.
It was the frog all along.
We're gonna find a frog that runs away from every adventure that we've been on.
Wait, every sort of boss fight we get into, there's going to be a frog running away from.
Exactly.
It's basically the Frogmanati confirmed.
Pretty much.
Okay, so Bradford, he's aware that there's bad shit going down. You know, like giant spiders and being flanked, and Daniel's like swinging his halberd around like it's, I don't know, like he's a cheerleader at some American football game. It's just like, yeah, he's gonna still press forward his attack though. My
Oh,
God, that's
nice.
a raw, and you're doing it with serious style. You know, every
Serious
swing.
style.
Halberd here.
I missed him, but I blapped the shrub.
I mean, yeah, you're trimming the verge perfectly. I mean,
You
it's a
lost to
little.
Foxxy.
I mean, it is a little
Yeah,
late.
late for trimming the verge.
It is a
don't you
bit
think?
late.
Well, 20 keeps kicking me out, and then
It just doesn't
I
like
keep
you.
sending back in.
Okay, so you perform your acrobatics with your halberd admirably. Sir Bradford seems unconcerned by that, as he seems unconcerned with pretty much everything. The only thing he seems to do is attempt to stab you in the face. I don't think he's gonna. 20.
That hits.
That's better. Yeah, 5 damage.
Well, they've got a +6 to hit.
I know. It's about time they actually do something.
You know, I mean,
Did
I'm
the other
hoping
group actually manage this?
they did. It wasn't exactly like this in the sense of almost
Didn't
insta-popping
one-shot the boss.
Belek, but I mean,
I know, but their frontliners have barely any hit points and armor either.
yeah. And bear in mind, they did have rail dropout, so I did take out a couple of enemies here and there. So I had to adjust
fair enough.
the encounter difficulty. I'm going to admit that because it's not fair. Otherwise, anyway, I just need to double check something. Yeah,
You're looking to see if this guy's got multi-attack.
No, he doesn't have multi-attack. I was double checking the weapon.
Weapon.
He's basically not going to do much else. Adrik.
Oh shit, is that a magical sword?
Oh my god, you're so slow. It does actually look, you get the distinct impression this is. It is a beautiful looking sword. Not like most of the things in here that are covered in dirt and are dull and dreary or slightly rusted. This thing looks pretty fucking pristine.
Oh, this really isn't my forte. Fuck it. I go to grapple the Sir Bradford.
Yes, thank you.
Gonna grapple him.
You're going to grapple him. I think I need an athletics check, please.
Not a problem. We'll see how this goes.
It's probably
14.
stronger than you.
It's not bad.
Probably is.
Well, let's just see.
Yeah,
16.
he manages to push you off fairly easily, while still keeping focus on Daniel, it seems.
Oh, alright.
Anything else you're going to do?
No.
Yeah, that's about it. Okay. Urki is going to have a slash at this blight. Thankfully, now he's got actually advantage, so he might actually manage to hit the bloody thing. Wouldn't that be a nice?
Hey.
How has Urki got advantage?
Because
Because of
me.
Orkon.
Orkon's
Oh.
flanking.
Yeah, I can't see
Orkon's
Orkon
doing
on the
roguey
map.
things and tidying up behind.
It's fair.
Okay. He's also going to move. Hang on a second. It says he's got 30 feet of movement. I'm pretty damn sure he hasn't. He's a fucking gnome.
If he's a gnome, he'll 25, sure.
Yeah.
Unless he's some
sheet
sort of
is-
special monk gnome.
Yeah, he actually multiclassed into every class.
Actually, doesn't the Lightfoot gnome get 30 feet movement?
Off the top of my head, I don't know, but to be honest, he's going to be just hiding here. And in fact, actually, to be perfectly honest, I'm going to go from what it says here because I know this was built with certain specifics. So yeah, I'm going to stick with what it says. So yeah, he moves there and he kind of pokes his head around some of the rubble, looking at what you guys are doing. Most of his attention seems to be focused on the fucking huge spider that seems to be molesting a woman at the back. Okay, we've got 2 twig blights now. The first twig blight is going to move forward toward Daniel, who it does manage to get in range,
Indeed.
which you are probably unhappy about.
I'm sure you're just shattered, aren't you?
14? No. We have the next twig blight that's down to the bottom, that's with Adrik. They're at least vaguely smart enough to be able to move a little bit to gain advantage. They're certainly smarter than the Yeah, I know. Or maybe they're being guided.
Maybe, probably.
The tree is alive. Wait,
Nat 20.
Yeah.
Wowzers.
As that
Oh.
nat 20, as he goes to swing,
Yeah.
I will There's a big ball of light pops in his face.
To
As
impose
unfortunately
disadvantage.
Unfortunately, with a 6, he misses.
Yeah, it would. It's technically losing. In an attacking enemy when you're yeah, I mean it's okay. Yeah, I'll accept that. I'm just trying to see whether it's like, well, it's a bit of a strange one, isn't it? Like, do you do it as it attacks or just after? But yeah, either way, it flashes up. It loses the 20. It's now a 13. Unfortunately, a 16. I'm guessing doesn't hit you then.
No, unfortunately not.
No, that's a shame. I really wanted it to hit you.
Yeah, I can tell. That's why
Okay.
Warding flared it.
Okay, Charmin is currently restrained inside a big web. She is rather unhappy by this situation, and unfortunately, there's not much she can do other than try and strength her way out. Lol.
Good luck.
Okay, so she's gonna do strength check.
I stare at her while she's wriggling in there.
No.
Click your mandibles together.
What's the
Pretty
DC for this, by the way?
12.
Okay, yeah, that's a long ways off.
Yeah, 6 is nowhere near. I mean, I don't think there's a single DC that 6 would ever
I
succeed
mean,
at.
she's a caster and doesn't have -1 to strength. So, I mean, she's got that going for her.
Yeah, she's actually not weak. She's totally average, but, in that sense. But hey, NPCs, they don't know how to min-max, idiots. Orkon. Urki managed to
Yes.
finish off the twig blight that you helped give him advantage on, and he ran off into the fortress, or the ruins of the fortress, whatever you want to call it.
It's the first thing Urki's killed.
I think it is, yeah.
Well, I
Well
can only
done, Urki.
kind of
Welcome
see
to the
one
family.
guy at this point, so I think I'm actually going to go back and pick up my bow.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Route here, right?
Yep, you just got your bow.
Alright. And
Giant.
can I do anything else? Or?
It's gonna basically you're gonna take your movement to get there. It's gonna take you're not gonna be able to make an attack. Put it like that.
Alright.
Unless it was a melee attack with the rapier. So you've spent your turn getting that, but now at least you can pretty much choose which one you've equipped. So I assume you have your bow out, or
Yeah, I think I'll go with the bow because, well, I'd have to run over there and start stabbing people, and I'd have to actually get over there.
makes sense. Okay, you got your bow. Giant spider.
Aye.
Your prey is wriggling comfortably inside your cocoon of webbiness. Roll me a d6, please. Okay, you feel like your thorax is kind of bubbling nicely. You think you could probably spit another web out at this point. Translation: your web has recharged.
Yes. I'm just wondering if I should do it.
Why not?
I've got something else in mind, but okay, I'll do it. So
Well, it's that,
another
or
way.
you just grab the mage now and start taking her away from the tree.
Yes, that's what I was thinking of doing.
I think
But-
that's a better plan, but we may want to try to get this guy webbed first.
Well, seeing as I have a web, I'm gonna web him.
Good shout.
Okay, it is a ranged attack, and you're at point blank range, so might be an idea for you to move slightly further away if you don't want to have disadvantage. Obviously, he'll then get an opportunity attack, but it's your choice of how you want to do this. Okay, I'm just saying, you would get disadvantage at that range. But Sir Bradford is going to take his opportunity attack, as I did warn you. You cannot say I did not warn you.
Mhm.
He's going to fucking miss. He can't even penetrate your carapace.
Bing.
I have all the chitin.
Yes, all that chitin is protecting you well.
Think of how much cementing paste we've made.
Oh, for fuck's sake, you idiot. So you're webbing Sir Bradford. Yeah?
Yes, I am. Sorry.
Unfortunately, I mean, it's the swing of the sword. You were dodging that, and you didn't quite get the aim right, and it flies off into the distance and sticks up against the wall behind him.
We gotta scrape that
Shade
off later and
is worth
sell
a
it to
swap.
the townsfolk as fine silk.
Oh god.
Right, I'm gonna move again,
Okay.
and I'm going to climb onto the tree.
Oh, really?
Wouldn't we want to grab Lady and move away from tree?
Well, I can't do that now, can I? Unless
You
that's
can
a
wait till
bonus
next
action.
turn.
Well, she's not going anywhere.
True. But I can't live.
Probably.
I mean, she has got
I
a
think
chance
we should
of
knock
breaking
them out, drag them away, and then set the tree on fire and leave.
Oh, I think that's exactly what we should do with a bit more searching for treasure and taking apples off it. Because those cysts, apples in them, I guarantee it.
Why do you think I'm on the tree?
Crafty.
He wants the apples for himself.
Go for the shriveled one, the one that's dried.
As you've taken your action, I mean, you can examine the tree a little bit, I suppose, but you're not really going to gain any more information or be able to do anything particularly substantial. One thing that you do notice is as you're kind of climbing up the tree, which is pretty damn easy, there's plenty of branches, you're a spider.
I do have spider climb.
Yes. You notice the tree sways, not aggressively, but unhappily. But it's not attacking you. You get the impression this is tree. It can't attack. It's not a something that's suddenly gonna be like treant you and grab you and start calling for its friend, Mossbeard or whatever the treant name is. I don't know. But yes, it's not happy that you're there at all. Okay. Callie.
Right. First things first. Oh wow, that might not actually hit this twig blight.
Whatever you're aiming at, it misses.
Yep. Okay, so first I do it and try to look intimidating as I stare towards the tree and say, I know of your binding. Release them and we will not put you to the torch. I'm fairly confident you can understand me. And if not, I'll telepathically communicate with the tree if possible.
You don't feel like there's a mind there for you to telepathically commune with.
Damn.
Don't
No
worry,
negotiation then.
I'll send a message and it'll understand.
Okay. Bite it?
I'm gonna shit all over it.
No, something better.
It'll make it more sinister looking if you put webs in its branches. Maybe you can be diplomatic about this and make allies. Look, we can make you spookier. Look at all these webs, and it's like, oh yeah, this is cool. I haven't really looked at my wardrobe in an age. This is kind of cool. Is this in season?
The thread count's amazing.
Yeah, it's got a sticky rating of 7. Okay, great. Callie, so you missed that. You moving around at all?
Yeah, actually, so that withered cyst that I saw, where is that?
It's sort of like about chest height on the main trunk. All of these cysts seem to be around the trunk or at the base of the tree.
Cool. Which side? Like, would I be able to get it here without getting into the threat range of this?
No, it's near the frontish, kind of near that twig blight-ish.
Yeah, okay, I'll... Actually, no, what am I talking about? No, wait, that's an action. Mage Hand is an action, unfortunately.
I'm afraid so.
Damn, that would have been great.
Massage the tree.
No?
Are you doing anything else?
Yeah, no, that's it.
Okay. Daniel.
I'm going to go for some more halberd of twirliness.
Okay.
So I'm going to hit the guy in front of me.
Well, prove it.
I'll try. And I'm going to try and hit the twig blight behind me.
Yep.
With that. You see, I can hit the fucking twig blight.
To be fair though, you should have got advantage on Sir Bradford.
Oh yeah, give me another d20, please.
Ah!
Oh!
Yes!
11 slashing damage.
Alright,
You
hang on.
finally hit him. Oh, okay. Well, let me do the 11.
An extra 1 damage.
And an extra 1 damage.
And he needs to make a strength save.
He does indeed. Oh dear.
Oh!
Poor guy.
So glad you took that.
He trips over. He trips over onto the ground. Okay. That it? Sir Bradford. Yeah. Guess what he's gonna do?
Get back up.
Stand up.
he's going to spend 15 points of his movement to stand up.
He gets knocked down, but he gets up again.
Yeah. I mean, it's a
I
beautiful
mostly
song.
did that for the damage, but yeah.
Yes, the damage is great. I like that about the maneuvers. You get a little extra of give me a saving throw for
I like the
something
fact that
funny.
you don't have to use them until you know whether you hit or not as well.
Yes, it's like the smiting thing that paladins get. You don't have to burn a spell slot until you hit, and then you can just choose. It's like, I think I'm going to do a second level spell slot. Here, undead, take all this
Maybe next
ridiculous
time I'll try a
damage.
push and try and ram him into the tree.
Stuck in assist. Oh dear. Okay, right. He is going to slash at you because that's basically he's committed now. He's committed to slashing at you, and he's not
Clink.
committed enough to slashing at you.
There's
Adrik.
no match for the halberd of twirliness.
No, this
Right.
is true.
Nobody can touch me. So I move one step forwards,
Mhm.
and I search Balak's corpse.
Just literally just ignoring
You're just gonna do that in the middle of combat.
everything.
Seriously, is now the time?
I mean,
you never know. We might find something that corresponds with the tree, or
You know, I'm all for honourable 1v1s. but
Okay,
still.
okay. You are in combat, right? You are, in order to get your AC, you are actively avoiding being hit. You know, even with armor, you are still having to, you can't just stand still because someone will just be like, put one finger on their lip and go, and they'll look at your arm, and then they'll slide the blade in your armpit. You have to actually be moving for even heavy armor to work. So, fucking hell, searching the body. I mean, does it really need to be done now?
okay. If we're gonna go that way, I will bonus action
Okay,
sanctuary myself.
go on then. I mean, I'll accept if there's some mystical reason, then I suppose. I mean,
So I will sanctuary myself. Then I'll loot the body.
fuck's sake, man, you're an idiot.
Wisdom save if you want to hit me.
Okay. Yeah, you're gonna search him. You notice he's got 3 potions. Well, 5 potions actually. 3 of them you notice as healing potions. The other 2 you're
Are they
not
just-
sure. They're just that standard healing potions.
Standard healing potions. I'll add that to my collection.
You notice there's a couple of other potions. You're not sure what they do, but at best guess they're probably antitoxin. You've seen similar things before. They're quite common, so yeah. You find a wand of some sort,
Ooh.
and a key. It's a pretty grubby key, to be honest. The door that you smashed open with your foot might have been the door for the key, but who knows?
Possibly.
But that's
well.
all you find. Okay, right. Since Adrik's now wasting his turn, Urki is going to have a little look at the situation, and he's going to be like, well, Adrik's being weird, so obviously he doesn't need a heal.
Adrik's charmed, clearly.
Yes,
Not in the fight
yes.
anymore.
We must attack him.
Is he just gonna ignore the giant spider on the tree now?
I think
He
Urki's
didn't
just
even
kind of...
notice it.
I mean, Urki knows that the spider is clearly an ally, but he's not going to get any closer at this point, I don't think. Yeah, no
Sit
closer.
this one out, Oki. It's fine.
He's going to point at the
We
twig
got this.
blight, and he's going to do that. And the twig blight is going to do this.
And just save.
Pretty much.
Hey, Twig, dance!
And it refused. Well, it did, technically, in order to dodge out of the way. So, yes, it did do exactly what he asked. That twig blight that's just been attacked is going to continue attacking Adrik.
Make me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Yeah, it will. It's not particularly wise, but... Oh, don't know why that's an advantage. Oh, yeah, because I flicked it. So, no, it failed.
Yeah. So basically, what it does with its turn is it either attacks someone else within range. If there is nobody else within range, it does not attack and
It
loses
can't
its action.
reach. It can't reach the giant spider that's in the tree. It's too high up, even though it looks like it's in range. So it was going to lose its attack. Sharwin is going to continue thrashing about, trying to get out of this web. And I mean, that was
Oh
even
my
worse
God.
than the first fucking time. Damn it, woman! What is wrong with you? Oh yeah, well I know exactly what's wrong with you, but hey, Orkon, you've got your bow out. you can see that the fight's is going all right. They're struggling to take out this knight dude, and they haven't even taken out Sharwin properly yet. But hey.
Well, then I should probably help out with that knight guy.
Some of us are trying, but some people are busy looting.
Try not killing him. Let's try to not kill him.
So I'll use my bow. Do I get advantage on this?
No.
Right.
No, but you will get your sneak attack because there are adjacent enemies.
And sneak attack then.
19. That was good.
2d6.
You do want to be careful because I'm not sure if you can do non-lethal with a bow.
Okay.
Orkon technically doesn't care, but yes.
More money if they're alive.
He flops to the ground. Bear in mind, you don't know whether he's dead. You don't know. He's been injured to the point of flopping over, and he's not conscious. Whether or not he's not conscious because of pain or because of death, you don't know.
Adrik, while looting the body, hears a thud. And goes,
Spare the dying.
well done, Daniel.
You notice actually now, because obviously you're stooped down at Belek, and you notice that now, because you're stooped down and you're quite close to both of them now, you notice that although they've got different skin, different clothing, and they're different, they are actually very similar. They're wearing a piece of jewelry that's identical. It's like these long wooden brooches in the middles of their chests. They both have these strange pointy things in their chests, but it must be the fashion. You don't know.
Well, I'm guessing in my looting, I would have taken that off of Belek.
I don't think he got the joke, did he, Ty? I'm talking about the arrows.
No.
The arrows. No, I didn't get the joke.
You're taking my arrows then, eh?
But I will loot the arrow from Belek, being like, when did this get here?
Oh God, why is my roll 20 just exploded?
That's a good question.
Well, we just need to knock out the other one, and then we can drag them away.
Well,
And
the
then
other
let
one is
Adrik set fire to the tree.
Currently tied up in a web, so we can just take her with us via spider.
By the way, I did
I'd
want to
feel
move
better
up,
if the
so.
caster was unconscious.
Especially because ultimately she's just going to get a strength save every round.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
going to break
that's
free
fair.
eventually. It's like, let's knock him out, drag him a couple of 100 feet away, let's get him out of this tree-filled area, and
Every
then burn
fucking monster stats window just crashed, and now I have to open them all again. That's very concerning. Well, not all of them. I think a lot of them are dead
We'll
now.
wait for you.
Okay, so yes, they've both been shot by arrows, Adrik. They don't actually have long, pointy brooches in the middle of their chest that stick out 2 feet or whatever.
Oh well.
Okay. So, Orkon, yeah, you've had your go. Giant spider time. What are you going to be doing?
Hello. I am going to bite the tree. With poison.
It's not a good idea. They're gonna feel pain.
Okay, you bite the tree, you sink your fangs, there's no need to do an attack roll. What actually is the damage that you do as a spider with your bite?
It says
In fact,
hit
actually, no,
7,
just give me a...
1d8
Actually, no, you
plus
can't.
3
You
piercing.
can't.
I
Just give me an attack. Just give me a... while I'm loading things up. In fact, actually, the giant spider I can actually load up first. I will just do the attack roll because it's probably easier. Okay.
Ouch.
That is a lot of fucking damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Does it get a Constitution save?
I mean,
It's a tree.
I mean, it's the poison isn't going to affect it the same way. It's venom, not poison as well. It targets respiratory things and stuff like that. It's not going to affect a tree. It's just
Even
it's
if it
just
did
liquid.
affect the tree, it'd probably take quite a long time for it to take any effect.
Yeah.
1 second, actually, where the hell is it? Okay. You bite the tree, and somehow you manage to do a really good bite on it. You think that you're going to need more than just spider teeth to do significant damage to this tree.
My mandibles only do so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's piercing damage. It's like shooting arrows at it. How long does it take to chop a tree down with arrows?
A while.
So, but yeah, it's definitely hurtable, and you know that you hurt it because you know how it was like protesting to you being in it and you can sort of sense that. It definitely did not like being bitten.
Yes.
Is the mage reacting in any way to the bite?
She thrashes more. Okay. Callie, what are you going to be doing?
Right. Fuck it. There's one more little dude there. Let's just do that. Still miss. Wow. I've got the AIDS curse from the other game. I've carried it here. I'm sorry.
I mean, great. You moving anywhere?
Thinking about that. Actually, yeah. I'll move up here and then there. Just like that.
Oh, I never rolled for web recharge.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, give me it.
Oh,
Unfortunately not. Your I can't even remember what they're called, but yeah, your glands of webbiness are still churning, trying to produce more, but you're gonna have to wait a bit longer. Okay. So we're gonna move on to Daniel. So yes, an arrow from the darkness flies through between some bit of masonry and strikes Sir Bradford squarely in the chest, and he flops down onto the ground, stops moving.
Okay.
Now bear in mind,
Need to
Sir
drag him
Bradford,
away, but
Sir
first
Bradford
things
isn't
first.
the brother. I just thought I'd remind people of that. He was just a stranger passing through the town, the small town.
Let's
Yes.
stabilize him.
What are you doing, Daniel?
So I want to knock out this caster before she breaks free.
Okay,
So-
give me
Well, she's
just-
restrained. So I
She is
guess
restrained, but it's a case of whether or not you hit the web. So I'm gonna have to give me an attack roll. Basically, if you miss, you hit the web and do damage to the web.
Okay.
But if you hit, it'll be non-lethal. Right. Fucking hell. Okay, that's a lot of non-lethal damage. And yeah, I mean, yeah, you thwunk her over the head and the side of the halberd as she kind of looks up as you approach, and yeah, you clunk her and she just flops unconscious. You can still see a kind of rough breathing coming from her. You actually just abort the halberd thud of the base of it because you just don't need it.
Okay.
So yeah.
Excellent. Now we can remove them.
Sweet, let's do that. First, we should deal with this twig blight, though.
Yeah, we probably should.
We forgot about that one.
Okay,
Well, I haven't.
It's here, I guess.
you defeat the twig blight.
Do you know what I was gonna
Eventually.
do? Is I was literally gonna spare the dying and then walk over and just stand in the way of the twig blight of getting to anybody else, and just watch him get frustrated by he's like, I can't hit you. I'm not allowed
I'm
to hit
gonna
you.
move over to Sir Bradford. Is he actually still breathing?
No.
I will spare the dying him.
Okay. Click on that spell, please. Just want to have a
You're
little
gonna
look
have
at
to
the
give me
wording.
2 seconds. I'm
Okay.
healing up.
Move off the tree and over here.
Basically, it stops if they're below 0 hit points and they're still technically alive. It
It
brings
just
them
says
back
creature.
To 0
Is it
hit
just
points.
target creature sort of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Target creature.
But he is dead.
He's dead.
He is dead. So spare the dying is for stabilizing someone who is at 0 but not dead.
Damn it, Orkon.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
sorry.
not living.
You touch a living creature that
He's
has
not
0
living.
hit points.
Okay.
He's
Then if he's
There
dead,
wasn't-
then we just need to loot his shit.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
There
take
wasn't
it.
really any way we could have known. So
All
it's
right.
fine.
I'm gonna move up to said lady that I knocked out, and I'm
No,
gonna
I'm
start dragging
gonna
her
drag her off. I'm gonna drag her off to
All right, well, if you
beyond
wanna do
these
that.
Right.
walls.
You're not allowed to
How
eat
many of
Hoes.
this-
I know you're a giant spider, but yeah, you need to calm it down, chill. You know, just I know you're like investing in these wild shapes, but she's not your food.
I'm trying
we
to get
need
her
to-
far away from the tree. Okay?
Yeah, we just need to get her out.
Yeah.
Okey-dokey.
I'm also gonna go ahead and start pluck. I'm gonna thrust my hand into the dry-looking cyst.
Okay.
Or, like, try-
It's mostly
Oh, no,
dry.
Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'll mage hand it.
Okay, fine. It is mostly dry. It's still a bit leathery, soft leathery. And inside you find a perfectly round, almost perfectly round red object that looks surprisingly like an apple, but not quite, because there's no stalk. It looks like broadly an apple, like, but it's not. It's clearly not grown on a branch, and there's no, the top and bottoms of apples are kind of woody. It hasn't got that. It's just dimpled at the top, and so it's clearly not grown normally. It grew directly out the trunk of the tree in this cyst.
Okay, so I'm going to start looking through other cysts. Are there any other cysts that have anything remotely apple-shaped in them?
I mean, all the other cysts are at various sizes. I need people who are investigating the tree in the area around. Give me investigation checks.
Ooh, I'll do that. Terrible at this.
Can I investigate in spider form?
Skadooch.
Yeah, of course you can. That would be your normal investigation roll.
I love with a -1, I still got 17.
Okay, you guys investigate some of the cysts. All the other cysts, they seem to be slightly different. All they have is a kind of off-white but clear liquid inside them. It's pretty rank, not pleasant at all. It's not like vile, it's not like decaying corpses, but it's not pleasant. You do find with those investigation rolls that some of the cysts that are toward the base are larger, and you kind of investigate one of them. You find that there is one that's mostly buried under dirt and other debris that is about 6 feet long, about 3 feet wide in the middle. It's unusually large.
It's a person.
Do you want to investigate what's in there?
Sure. Yep.
Okay,
Can we open it up?
Yeah, you cut it open, and it's again full of the same liquid, but you're face to face with a face, and it looks like a dead. It looks like a corpse, but it's not decayed. It looks like just a random human guy.
Yep.
Is their skin all barky like the others?
Half barky. You can't tell whether he's alive. He's at the moment completely submerged in this weird gloop that's inside the cyst.
Right. We have the apple. I don't think we need to check the area around here, but do we want to check it for treasure just in case?
Dead knight guy quickly.
Okay, the dead knight guy.
Grab the ring.
I'm going to try and save the person that's in that set.
Okay, right. The dead knight guy, for loot, has no personal possessions of his own. The only thing he has is the sword, as in, he doesn't have any pouches and backpack and all that stuff. He has the sword, which is unusually shiny and cool. He has some chainmail and a shield. They are all in pretty good nick. Yeah, add them to the party loot. If you want to be in charge of party loot, then...
Callie, I think I have a present for you.
Oh?
And I will pass her a wand.
Ooh. Well, this is interesting.
What is it? Chainmail, shiny sword of...
somethingness. Sir Bradford's sword. Bradford, not Bradford, but Bradford. But either way, yeah.
Bradford, that's the one.
Yeah. Bradford. Like, basically, if you had a vast amount of ladies' underwear blocking the way, this would be the shallow part to be able to cross them.
Oh, thank goodness. So it's a Bradford.
Yeah, Bradford.
Okay. That's in the loot.
The wand. It's not an arcane wand. You think that this is more of a naturey kind of wand.
Nah,
What wand is this?
Huh, this is weird.
The wand that
actually,
Adrik found.
I wave it over. I wave it over at the spider. Niacin, you might be interested in this.
I climb on the tree over to her.
I saved the dude in the cyst.
You save him. Okay, how are you saving him? He's currently completely submerged in liquid. He looks dead, but he does not decayed. He's half barky skinned.
Can I do a medical check to see if he's dead?
Yes, give me a medicine check. I'm assuming that you're submerging your hands in the liquid because you're gonna have to either pull him out or put your hands in to check him. You could empty the cyst. You could cut the cyst.
Hand him out or him up a bit.
Mage hand isn't going to shift this guy. He's too heavy. Mage hand isn't strong enough.
Get a shovel.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
go
Get
on
a
then.
stick,
I stick
like
my hand in it.
leverage.
Okay,
Alright.
it's kind of warm and thick like a syrup, but other than that, you have no ill effects from coming into contact with him. You kind of feel around, but the thing is, he's submerged, so it's like normally you check if someone's breathing or whether they're moving or they react to being pinched and things like that, and you can't feel anything. It's while he's submerged, you can't tell. One thing you do notice is that he's actually underneath him because he's naked. Underneath, he's kind of attached to the outside of the cyst itself, but on the back of him there's like tendrils and like fibers that he's kind of stuck to.
The tree's eating him.
Ugh. Do you really want to cut him out?
I really want to burn the thing alive.
But what, you don't feel comfortable about burning him?
No, the guy's dead.
Mm.
Are you sure?
No, well, since the spider seems to have abandoned her, Daniel's
Yeah.
going to pick up.
Well, I
unconscious
dragged
lady.
her beyond the walls.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Nothing.
She's
He
not
didn't
there.
react. He didn't react. She didn't react in any way when you dragged her that distance, other than maybe move slightly because she's unconscious and having bad dreams of being knocked the fuck out by a maniac with a halberd. Like other creatures in this
The flying
particular
halberdier
world.
strikes again.
I know. I mean, if the trend continues of people being rendered unconscious by the flat of a halberd continues, she'll be tortured and killed soon enough. Okay. Niacin, you look at this wand,
Yes.
and I'll get back to the cyst in a moment. You look at this wand. You can't be certain, but give me. You could either, being a druid, you can give me a nature check. Nature check would be most sensible for a druid.
Niacin, what do your 8 eyes see?
Yeah, okay, you're not 100% sure, but you think that this is a wand of entangle. It is definitely made by a druid.
Ah.
And you don't think there's anything odd about it. It just looks like a normal wand of entangle. You know what I mean?
Hint, this
I tell
might
you
be
what,
how they captured these people.
Guys,
yes.
since you don't have hands, I'm just gonna hold on to this for now, and
That's fine.
when you turn back, I'll give it to you. Okay?
That's fine.
Cool.
Okay, what are you doing with the guy in the cyst? That, I mean, now you've had a bit of a look at him. He could match the description of the other guy that you were sent here, the brother.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. We should probably.
Time
Let's
to...
at least get him out and bring the
Yep.
body back to them so they can bury them or something.
Okay, while they're all focused on that, I'm gonna sneak behind the tree.
Okay,
At least, yeah, even if we can't keep them alive, at least if we can return their bodies.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. That sounds like a good thing to me. So yeah, I will dig my hands deep and I will pull him out.
I was thinking we just like cut him out, maybe, just in case. Do you
2
really think he's
seconds.
dead?
it does require a blade of some sort to sever these
Yeah,
strands
here,
that
I'm gonna
attach
take
him.
that fancy knife that I found earlier, and I'm just that fancy dagger, and I'm gonna splush my hands in. Don't say I don't make sacrifices for the team, and cut through the roots or whatever it is that are underneath.
Okay.
Adrik turns to Callie and goes, "I love being warm and gooey with you."
Because you're both elbow deep in this
I make-
weird liquid.
I make a choking noise with my mouth. Later.
Daniel's going to whistle.
You're cutting through these things, and you cut through them well, and then as you've loosened like half of them, you tug this guy, and he just tears free. His body shudders slightly, and then that's it.
And I'll yank him out and plop.
Yep, he is flopped down, and to all measurement, he's dead, and half his skin is turned into bark.
Right. Do we want to loot the surrounding area? I don't think there's going to be much else here, guys. We found the apple.
You have a little look around. You've
Have we
none of the
recorded
other.
that we have the apple?
Yeah, none of you find anything else in the cysts. Belek has already been looted. Neither of these two had anything other than their clothes and their weapons. Sharwin has just a regular dagger, but that's basically it, other than some clothes that are now got web all over them, but they're not particularly nice clothes either.
Okay, while they were all digging out that one
Yep.
individual from the base of the tree, I'm going to have snuck around the back of it,
Yep.
dug a little hole near the roots, and gnawed off a little piece of root.
Okay, it's
Hidden
difficult
other
to do, but you do manage it. And there is a reaction from the tree. It's definitely causing it either discomfort or pain or whatever the equivalent is for this weird tree.
Mm-hmm.
You're torturing it. Congrats.
I'm keeping it.
Once we've got the guy out,
I was worried you were
turn-
going to do
Oh,
that.
so you're completely severing the bit of root from it.
Yes, I'm severing
Okay.
it
Taking
off
a
and I'm
root.
hiding it
As
with,
you've taken the piece of root completely away, after a couple of seconds, it just seems to suddenly dry and wrinkle and go black, and it's still there. It's still in one piece, but it's definitely transformed into a black withered thing, even more dead looking than it was when it was in the ground.
Ah, like my heart.
Well, I'm keeping it anyway.
Yeah, keep it.
Okay.
Withered tree root, I suppose, is as good a description as any.
Yes.
Right, guys, let's grab the bodies, leg it, and we'll start making fires. Adrik?
Right, Adrik has got the body that you pulled out the tree.
Yep.
Sweet.
Well, Niacin carry
Niacin's
the
already
woman
carrying the
that
other
he
one.
put behind the wall.
How
Daniel's
about
going to
Sir
pick up the corpse of Sir Bradford,
Sweet.
and then we can set the tree on fire and let leave.
No, we don't set anything on fire until we're out.
Yes.
We're gonna
Well,
set fire to the
I
brush out there, and it will get in.
No. I want to make sure this thing burns.
Look,
We
come
can-
back to
we
do
can get
that,
out
but we are
faster
not
than the
running
fire will
away
spread.
from a fire.
You think?
Honestly.
Okay, let me cut through this. You think that if you directly set fire to the tree, it won't spread so quickly that you have to do anything more than walk to keep ahead of the flames. The tree itself, as you can see, that one Gulthius tree in the middle, there aren't any other trees too near it. It seems to have kept larger plants from growing near it. So, although yes, you're certain that the fire will spread once it's taken, you think you can safely set fire to this tree, watch to make sure it takes, and then walk out without any major issues.
Alright. Well, see, that's what we can do. You guys can head to the edge of the area, and I will heat my hands.
You're already
Make sure that you bring
to it.
the other body with you.
I will do.
This thing needs to burn. It's not correct.
It's
Yes,
prone to
I'll
possessing
burn it
people.
down. Don't worry.
Right, Daniel's going to
Well,
start.
in that case, here,
breathing
I'm
with
helping
Sir
you. I've made a
Bradford's corpse.
bonfire underneath the tree. I gotta pick a square, don't I?
I can just assume that it's at the base of the tree. It's fine. The tree catches fire quite nicely and starts thrashing gently as though there is a very brisk breeze. Sharwin kind of moves a little bit in her unconsciousness, but other than that, nothing else seems to happen as the flames start to take.
Yeah, let's try and get her out of here quickly.
To speed up the process, I will warm my hands together, and I will cast Burning Hands. But this time, I will cast Burning Hands at a 2nd level slot.
You are going intensive kind of burn. Okay,
I'm out of here.
Oh my god, look at the damage roll.
Holy
Whoa.
Shit.
Oh,
Got
God.
max
The
damage.
tree
I
explodes.
just wanted
And...
to see how shiny
Normally with burning hands, it fans out to cover a large area, but as the tree thrashes about, it seems to accidentally catch all the fire that you fan out that normally it would have missed, like a terrible accident on its part. It immediately regrets this, as it's now all but an inferno now.
Right.
It's getting
Let's
hot.
book it. I motion to Urki, who appears to still be paralyzed with fear in the corner.
He's not paralyzed with fear anymore. Adrik, are you going to just stand there while this tree turns into a deadly inferno?
No, I stand 10 feet back, pick up the dead body, and go, that was actually beautiful. And Paylor, I hope you love the light that this creates.
You get the impression that although the light is fantastic, of course, Pelor's quite, you also get the feeling that destroying this thing is definitely what Pelor would have wanted.
Good.
You feel like there is a you did good, son, kind of thing.
Attaboy.
As I feel that kind of ray of light, the fire ignites off of me, I put down the body and go, just in case. Walk up and rub my hands together and again.
Oh, the tree again, not her, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
She's
there's
with
not
me.
much.
I'm dragging her
Okay,
away.
it's now starting.
She left ages ago.
To be honest, it doesn't matter. Unless Adrik stays, then we can argue about it, but he's not, so it's fine. I mean, even before, the heat from the tree was pretty fucking intense. Now, 6. Oh dear. I know it was only a first level roll this time, but yeah, you've let us down this time. Yeah, I mean a bit more fire, but yeah, this is getting actually painful to be near now.
You've blown your load already,
A
man.
few flames and things are breaking off. You branches are coming away from it. The fire has started to spread to some mulch and other things nearby that have now dried out, and it is starting to spread outwards. You're happy to see that this particular tree catches as a flaming branch just flops down, and the intense heat is just starting to catch the ground and the mulch. So yeah, it's spreading.
Cool.
Yeah.
I pick up the dead body and go, shame I don't have any marshmallows. And walk to catch up with everybody.
Okay. You guys, I'm assuming, are just gonna head back, or is there anything that you wanted to do, like not be a spider anymore so you can fit through a door?
It's kind of a challenge.
I mean,
Um,
your thorax does not fit through that.
And I'm like, we're on a time limit here, Niacin. I know
Okay,
you like
I'll
being a spider, but we need to leave.
I transform back.
I mean,
Did you get your ass
you find yourself unable to. No, I'm kidding. It'd be hilarious though, wouldn't it? I mean, not for you. I mean, it'd be horrible for you, but
I'm pretty sure I could bust through that door eventually. Yay!
I hand
exist.
Niacin his wand.
okay.
Ah, thank you.
So yeah, you have a wand of entangle.
Okay,
I
while
think-
all that was going on with the tree burning, did what's her name react while I was dragging her around?
She seemed to thrash about quite a bit as the tree started to take. You can see the light coming from the burning tree, and you can hear Adrik, what you believe, casting burning hands yet again to ignite the tree further. Sharwin thrashes about a bit more, and then goes still.
Okay.
Is she dead?
Maybe.
Actually, here, let's medicine.
Adrik. Where's that death saving? What do you call it?
Okay, so you perform medicine. You look at her. You know at this point, after seeing the reactions, examining the tree, like I was saying before, when you did that ace roll on the tree, you know that there was a connection, but you had to see a little bit more of a reaction between the tree and the individuals. And although you couldn't predict exactly what was happening, you're understanding a little bit more now. You feel that the tree was obviously converting Talgen, the guy that you think is the guy that was in the pod that you've got, and it was transforming him into whatever it was that Sharwin and Sir Brafford became. You think that once that transformation has begun past even 20% kind of thing, you know what I mean? The moment it's a little bit way into the transformation, at that point your fate is basically sealed.
Wait, so did the last time
Oh,
we killed the tree?
dang. Yep, it looks like she's dead.
You actually are pretty
Been
sure.
dead for a while.
You're pretty sure that there'd be a range limit on this as well. You don't even think that you would have got her back to the town, even if you'd left the tree alive. You think
Well, yeah,
that the
I was
connection...
kind of hoping, I was banking on that to see whether anything piggybacking on her would die off.
Unfortunately, no. You think that the moment the distance is too great between the tree and one of its... you don't even know what to call them. Thralls, I suppose. But the moment the distance is beyond a certain amount, you don't know what it is, but you think there'd be a range limit, or that the tree itself dies and the connection's severed. At that point, you don't think that anything short of incredibly powerful magic would save the individual. She's dead at this point. Unless you had something powerful, you don't think that you don't know of anything specifically powerful enough. Spare the die ain't gonna work, and as far as Adrik you're concerned, you know of a Revivify.
Magics.
You know of that. You are like, yeah. I mean, this thing needs some kind of it needs to be restored. This needs to have a big body heal, like
True res.
something like that. Yeah.
Well,
Damn.
we do have one thing that's powerful in the group.
Oh, God. Are we really gonna use the apple?
You don't think
Maybe.
it'll work. You don't think that'll work.
I was going to say I was going to sneak attack her, but you know.
She came at me, stab.
Honestly,
She's dead, Sam.
guys, I don't really want to take that apple anywhere. The tree was feeding off him.
But it's the
That
last
doesn't
apple.
change the life that it gives, okay? It may be tainted in its full purpose, but we can use this.
I mean, from what you had been told about the apples before you came here, because it's been a while since we've gone through that particular session. How many months now? The people that had purchased the apple and had pieces of it, you know, people from years prior, because bear in mind this has been going on about a decade. People that had eaten it and who had had illnesses, who had been injured, whatever, they were still well. After having eaten the you know, quarter of the apple or the whole apple, they had been cured, and they had not had any ill effects that they had mentioned. They said that actually it's, you know, little things like, you know, I'd already had a bit of an achy back since, you know, I fell off a construction, you know, when I was building, and that even cleared up and stuff like that. You know, there's little things, and none of them reported anything bad happening to them over time.
It may have come from an unpleasant source, but we should probably keep it.
Exactly. It's good. What it made was good, even if it is evil. I'm glad we killed it, but we got something good out of it.
Fair enough. I'm not gonna touch it. I think I'm fine with Palor's light.
Suit yourself. That was a fine blaze.
I know, right? I did enjoy that. I felt Palor shining down on me in that very moment.
You do a good job with fire. It's true. Right. Shall we continue?
Yeah, let's get these bodies back up and all of our loot, and let's.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, we're gonna make a brief pit stop for the loot, obviously.
What we might want to do on our way up, any ways we haven't seen or have thought to have kind of just dodged by, we might want to just check them out and kind of see if there's anything worth of gain to us.
Okay.
Is there?
Is there anywhere where you want to explore? You can see the map, guys, and if you want to move a character to somewhere near where there's something unrevealed, you can tell me that you want to do something with it.
Much as exploring is fun, I've had my fill of this. Daniel is just going to head back to that room and prepare to leave.
Yeah, let's like it. I've been in goblin halls for long enough. I've sat next to stinky trees for long enough.
Yeah.
And we've tortured kobolds
what's
for
down
long
this
enough.
way?
Did we ever explore this door? I don't remember.
Which
We never
door?
did find out what the deal was with the dragon thing, though.
Microphone muted. Microphone activated.
Damn it!
Oh yeah, the
just-
dragon.
Okay, guys, are you moving around, or I mean, Callie's moving
I
around.
just moved back to the dragon thing.
Is everybody leaving the area and going underneath, down the stairs and up the stairs?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that's the bit you guys can't do without me. There you go. I'm just gonna, sorry, Callie, but there we go.
That right?
The statue is a statue.
Damn. We never really did figure out what the deal was with that. Oh well.
It's a neat statue.
It is. Still, I think I'm a bit tired of the dragon architecture.
Do I still
Dragons
have
are
the
cool.
book?
I mean, maybe the architecture's dragging on a bit.
Oh, hey! That pun was so bad that I accidentally refreshed Roll20.
Oh, wow, that was bad. So, does anybody want to do anything before you leave the dungeon?
Shall we set fire to the last room over here? We never did set fire to this room.
Oh, for fuck's sake! I mean, if you just say you're setting fire to it, then it's set, then it's on
Let's
fire.
just set fire to the whole fucking dungeon. I think that's a better plan.
You know that
Right,
it's
well,
over the
while they
catch.
faff around burning everything, Daniel's going to climb back up the vines and get a rope tied at the top so that we can haul stuff back up.
Yeah, that works.
Good.
Good idea.
The actual hole itself, I think it's a bit deep for a single piece of rope. Let me double check that.
You need help?
Yeah, if somebody wants to come in and give me a hand with this, it's a two-person job.
It's an 80-foot distance, so you're going to need
Oh,
two ropes
okay.
tied
Do you
together.
have a bit of rope, Orkon?
Let's see. Would that be
guessing
part of my
you probably
Burglar's kit?
I've got 100 silk rope if you really
Oh,
want
wow.
it.
You've been extracting it from Niacin's butt.
I think a burglar
Well,
should
I've
have
also
rope.
got 50 silk rope, so...
Yeah,
ask how I got
that's
it.
what he does in his spare time.
All right, well, I'm going to tie the end of my rope onto the end of somebody else's piece of rope.
Yeah, basically, you have enough rope. You can Someone
And I'm
can
gonna
climb
climb
to the
up.
top. It's dead easy to climb. You don't even need to roll for
I'll
that.
climb up. I'm going to leave the body that I'm carrying at the bottom, obviously.
Yep.
I'll climb up. I'll tie it to that big prone thing that's at the top.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm also going to hold on to the rope, and I'll call down and have people tie
You're
stuff
going to
up
winch.
and
Yeah,
haul
you're
it
going to
up.
winch it all up in that fashion. That's perfectly well organised.
And we've got
You
the goblin
succeed.
wheelbarrow that we can put stuff in as well.
Yes, yeah, you really want to have a goblin wheelbarrow.
Well,
Hey,
it's more
goblin
useful for getting our
wheelbarrows is
stuff
better
out
than nothing.
because
I got
Ooh,
50
ooh, I
feet
could
of
probably
hemmed rope. Yes.
finagle proficiency at that. It's a land vehicle, right?
Fuck. A vehicle is something that you ride in or on.
something you drive.
Yeah, something you drive.
Oh yeah,
Like a
I
cart.
can carry somebody else who was small in this.
Actually, no, it would work. You can use the wheelbarrow and you can use your land vehicle proficiency if you sit in it and someone else lifts it up and you kind of guide them with a bit and bridle.
I can manage that. I can turn into animals.
God,
this
you
is
can
fine.
turn into a
Onward,
horse.
Niacin!
It's a
I
wheelbarrow.
can turn into a horse.
It's not actually a car. It's a fucking wheelbarrow. You can turn into I don't know, a small You can turn into a mastiff. It would be perfect for a mastiff-sized thing. Oh, you idiots!
Oh, thank
Hey,
you,
should-
Niacin.
should we-
Or an direwolf. That'll work.
Should we get out of here? Is Adrik still busy setting fire?
I don't know
Wait,
what
there
Adrik's
is
doing.
one last
Ad-
door. Down
Yeah,
this way.
You're exploring this. Okay, I'm following you.
Though,
Okay.
don't go past.
Adrik, you
Yeah?
know, gut feeling, that this tunnel leads deep into the bowels of the earth. And it's a long tunnel, many, many miles. You think this leads on to far away from here.
Cool.
Probably just
I
boring
did
chaos.
want to check one last time around the statue, see if I can see anything new of light.
You
after.
see nothing new that you didn't already see.
Yeah.
It's alright.
So,
Once we get back up, we probably should send a couple of people back to town because we're going to need a cart to get all this back, especially these bodies. We don't want to be carrying these all the way back to town.
sounds good.
Did you just go into the pit?
That's
Adrik.
the
There's a
okay, Adrik. That is a pit that disappears into blackness down. You don't know how deep it is.
Jump!
Across the way.
Pardon?
Something across the way.
There is, yes. The pit's opened up, and it looks like this passageway. As the chasm had opened up, it must have sheared the passage, and it continues that way. But it's a deep hole, pit in the ground, whatever you want to call it. So, I mean, if you wanted to try and jump that,
What ran down
Here's a hint.
the
Don't.
passageway at the back there? Something went down that way, and I can't remember what.
which way?
The frog?
Oh, near the tree.
There, yeah. No, here, not near where they were brewing the wine.
It didn't. Nothing ran down that corridor because all it is a hole in the wall with a deep chasm that goes. You don't
Oh
know
no,
how far
I
it
threw
goes.
it down there. That's what it was.
So yeah, if you wanted to try and jump that gap, I mean, you could do an athletics check.
Niacin, if I attached a rope to myself, would you and Callie hold on to it to see if I could jump it? Leap of faith and all.
You're trusting my strength?
I'm more trusting Niacin as a big counterweight.
Do you need me in the shape of a bear?
That would be wonderful.
Yeah,
We
you
can
think
tie-
if you
tie
turned
the
into a
rope round
bear,
you.
yeah, you probably wouldn't even move. You've got the claws as well, so yeah, you don't think you'd need to brace much at all. You would, but you don't think you'd need too much.
Cool. Right? I'll help them get tied up together.
Okay, you tie a bit of rope around. Nice, and I'm just going to assume you become a bear at this
Yeah.
point.
I do whatever they want. Bear, horse.
Okay, give me an athletics roll, Adrik.
Right.
This is purely to see if you manage to jump it or not. Either way, you know.
Dead.
Okay, you don't even get, 3/4 of the way there, and you don't make it. You try and reach out, you can't grab the other edge. You slip down a little way, the rope suddenly pulls taut. Niacin's like, oh, there's a small dwarf acting like a pendulum. It doesn't move at all, and yeah, you're just sort of dangling. You bashed yourself up against this side of the chasm, but apart from that, you're none the worse for wear. Bit of scratches on the armor, nothing more.
We'll climb
Whoops.
back up.
Yep, you manage to pull yourself up, and Niacin can just walk up the corridor, and you'd get to back up. Ultimately, you failed the first one, but eventually it doesn't really matter. You can keep trying, and you're going to succeed. I just wanted to see if you make it first time. You don't. So,
No one ever succeeds the jump the first time.
I don't probably.
But what if
think-
he had?
That would have been really cool if I had. I wonder if Daniel could throw me across.
Do you want him to toss you?
I thought you weren't into being.
No. I really don't like the idea of that, but
Hey, I'm in bear shape. I could very easily bat you across there.
go for it.
Just imagining you like long arming it.
Oh my
You're
god.
all mad.
Okay, with a helpful batting from the big bear, you managed to get across the fucking gap. With the rope still attached to you, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'll keep the rope attached.
Okay, the ropes are still attached. You make it across the chasm. Okay.
Callie, do you want to come across?
I look down.
It's
I look back at you. I think I'm fine over here. Let me know what you find, though.
I'll be 2 seconds.
Okay, the rope pulls taut at some point.
50 feet. It'll pull taut at.
Do you want me to let go?
No.
That's a bad idea.
Actually, yeah.
That's a really bad idea.
Anything
I'm
over
just
there?
kind of quietly
Can't
watching from over here.
really see anything.
I'm gonna
Alright,
move closer
I'm
to
gonna-
the edge so it gives you a little bit more.
I mean, that's still going around a corner now, so you can get to about there, Adrik, but any further you can't because it's having to go around this corner.
Okay.
You're going to have
I'm
to
gonna
detach.
Step back.
Yep.
I detach myself and I will put my warhammer
Mhm.
down on top of the
Well,
rope
you
so
can-
the rope doesn't slide away.
Yeah, you can wedge the rope in some of the masonry in the walls, and you're pretty damn certain it's not going to come loose.
Alright, okay.
So either way.
Dwarven architecture now. Yeah.
Well, this bit, yeah. I mean, it's not definitely, but, you know, it's all right.
In fact, I've got some pittons and stuff like that, so I could just knock a pitton into the wall and
This is true.
tie it. So that's what I do. Knock a wee pitton into the wall and I'll walk around the corner. Let's see what's around here.
Okay. You wander down the corridor and you find a door.
I walk back. There's a door, Callie!
Have you kicked it yet?
Oddly enough, no.
I'll pop a finger and go, hold on a second. I'll walk back to the door. I kick the door.
Now, I need to just check something about this.
It doesn't move. You get the impression it opens outwards.
Knowing what happened last time, because I'm going to look about and make sure that nothing's going to hit me, and I'll open the door.
Let's see. What's the range of this? Damn, range is 30 feet. I can't open the door in his face.
Okay, you open the door, nothing bad happens. This room's quite decorative. It's got really faded tiles that obviously have some sort of mosaic, but you can't tell what it was. There's a lot of orange and red in these mosaics, so the fact that there's a dragon statue in the middle, you kind of guess it might have been a fire theme, and just a random guess. It's dusty. You don't think anyone's been here for a long time. Not even rats. The dragon is a nice statue. It was probably quite a lovely statue, but although it's been protected in this room, time, warming, cooling, it is cracked and crumbled slightly. Unlike the other ones that have inscriptions on, this one looks like it's quite worse for wear. There is no obvious inscription on it. One thing you do notice about this particular dragon statue is its eyes. Unlike the one before that had empty kind of round holes where its eyes were, this has two big sparkly red things for eyes.
Ooh.
I mean, they're pretty big, fist-sized, sparkly red things for eyes.
Oh, no.
Did you find anything, Adrik?
The question echoes through the corridor. You can hear. I mean, you don't. I mean, Adrik doesn't reply, Callie, but you sense more than hear a vast conflict raging somewhere between greed and sensibility.
You found something, didn't you?
Adrik's gonna go back and be
Bring
like,
it out.
and we'll come down here and be like, Callie, I kinda need you to come across.
Fine.
You coward.
We do a nice little winch system, and we'll just pull Callie
There's
across.
somebody at both ends. You can easily get her
Yeah,
across.
Fantastic. Cool.
You coward.
So, I totally want to go grab whatever the fuck this is, but you see those big, like, rubies in the eyes, right?
Whoa. Yeah, those are big.
You're not sure if they are rubies or not, but they're definitely red and they're definitely cut and they're definitely big.
Okay, first things first.
Okay, you don't see anything in this room that... Have you both stepped actually fully into the room like that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to tell me if you move any further forward or decide to move. But yes, Arcana 8, you don't see anything in this room that looks Arcana-ish. You don't get any...
Shit,
How about
that was not what I
shenanigans?
meant to do. It was the second
Medicine.
one. Oh, man.
I mean, you...
No.
You test Adrik, and you look in his eyes, you open his mouth, you check his teeth, you listen to his chest, and apart from...
Well, you're physically fit. I don't know
Yeah,
about
he
that
seems pretty good. I mean, he's taken a few hits, but other than that, he certainly is he's a pretty healthy dwarf in the prime of his life.
Thank goodness for that. Right.
Are you investigating Adrik again, or...?
No. I'm actually searching the ground.
Okay.
Seeing if there's any traps.
It's a very dust-covered floor. You can see some of the tiles. There's obviously some sort of mosaic, and it's going up the walls as well. You don't see anything out of the ordinary. Okay, what are you using your mage hand for?
Take one of the rubies out of the dragon's face.
Okay. Your invisible hand floats off and grabs one of the gems and tugs. It's not moving.
It's gonna take more than this, but you're right about being cautious. I get the feeling there's something.
Adrik says, hold on a second. We'll take a quick 10-minute break, and I will cast the ritual Detect Magic.
Sure thing.
Go for it.
So we'll do an
10 minutes. Hang on a second. Let me check something. What room are you in? 46.
Oh, smoke.
I don't even think that's, like, possible. Like, even if it's 10 minutes, it's an awfully long way.
No,
for
that's fine. I just needed to
travel.
check something about the room you're in. That's all. No, okay. 10 minutes goes relatively uneventfully, though. Callie, you do notice, because obviously Adrik's sort of, focusing on his spell and looking at the gems, and you notice that his eyes seem to get bigger, imperceptibly bigger, and the gems seem to sparkle in his eyes even more so, like he's just going to rip them off the statue any second, because I think he probably is at this point. I'm amazed he's lasted this long. Detect magic. That was flavor. That was just me being silly.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you haven't actually been hypnotized by the dragon. Yeah. Okay,
Why
you
not?
cast
Do
the
it.
detect magic, and this room has no magic in it that you can detect, other than Callie, I suppose, because,
I look at Callie and go, there's nothing there, and walk up and bash the head with my hammer.
You bash the head with the hammer, a big load of masonry comes off, and it shudders. You feel like you should be a bit more careful than that if you want the gems to get out intact. But yeah, I mean, it's nothing happens other than you hit the dragon statue on the head.
Cool.
So
Try
after
and
he
take the
cracks
gems
the
out.
head halfway open, I'm just gonna, lift one edge slightly and catch the ruby as it falls.
Yeah, basically, once you get up to it and you actually start sort of prying it out with something, a little bit of gentle but firm prying manages to loosen them. It takes a little bit of elbow grease, but ultimately you manage to loosen these two red dragon gems, if you want to call them that.
Red dragon gems.
You don't think they're rubies. Rubies are normally brighter coloured than this, but they certainly look really nice. None of you have any kind of jeweler's kind of proficiencies or anything, have you?
No, unfortunately. Unless it's a land vehicle or cooking, I can't help you.
You can't cook it and you can't ride it, so you don't know what the hell these things are, other than pretty.
Well,
I've got smithy tools, navigator tools, and vehicles water.
Nope. Yeah, they're probably valuable. Don't get me wrong. You're pretty certain they're valuable, but what they are and how much you don't know.
So, Adrik, have you got this?
You put it into the party loot.
Sure.
Oh, well, while they've been faffing around doing that, Daniel's just been ferrying all the stuff back to the locked room.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fine.
I'll be helping.
All the corpses and...
I'll have watched for a little bit. Once it's clear they're just kind of derping around over there, I'll come back and help.
Yeah, you've obviously had, between killing the kobolds and goblins, you've had a long rest here and there. It's starting to smell a bit. The bodies are starting to go a bit. It's not, well, it is unpleasant, but it's not intolerable or anything. But yeah, you certainly wouldn't want to be in here in 24, 48 hours. Definitely you wouldn't want to be in here.
Well, this is why we burn everything. I think that's a good idea.
So do we want to set light to this downstairs area?
Yeah, let's do that.
I mean,
They
you
were
don't think...
farming-
Not until we're out of here, all of us.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, don't worry. We're not gonna...
I'm
I'm
not
not-
going to get you trapped. If you say that you're going to burn the place down, I'm not going to turn around and suddenly spawn fire icons and say, well, Callie didn't make it. Obviously, unless you tell me that you're trapping your friends in a raging inferno, I'm going to assume you're not trapping your friends in a raging inferno.
Well, about that.
That's my plan. Come on, don't steal.
Honestly, what was I thinking?
I'm a rogue and you're asking me not to steal.
Yeah, stealing's my job.
Huh.
Ah,
Oh, no,
we're back
that
here.
is a legitimate...
Now, obviously, that's how everything is.
I mean, has enough time passed that Daniel and Orkon have managed to get all the stuff back to the locked room?
I mean, I'll put it like this. Unless you guys have something specific, other than taking the bodies and the loot and all that shit out, unless you want to do something very specific, other than that, we can call it at this point.
All right.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
from
just
a
setting-
sort of roleplay standpoint, I think we'd send a couple of people and get a cart, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good
Yeah, I think
it's a
that's
good sort of
probably wise.
16 or so. It's about 12, 14 hours or so trip there and then back again, because you did have to camp part way and then you began the day.
All the more reason why we need a cart. We've
Ni-
got a lot of
nice
stuff and
and-
we've got 3 bodies.
Niacin's probably the best person to go get the cart, because then then he could be the horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, first off,
Yeah, he could probably actually get there quite quickly.
I was gonna say, he can, you could wild thing that easily get to and fro.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. You can get hold of a cart. It's not going to be a rip-off amount of money. We can sort out exactly how much that costs in a second. I'm assuming you're just going to buy a cart and then...
Either that or tell the merchant family that we've found the bodies of their relatives and that
They're a
can
little
borrow
bit
a
further
cart.
out of town, and to be
Let's
honest,
not do that just
you
yet.
might as well just, I mean, this bit is the mopping up and like, well, of course you take
well,
all
a
the
cart
loot.
and a mule shouldn't be expensive.
Well, it
I
depends
am
on whether you
mule.
want a mule. I mean, a cart's basically going to be 15 gold. If you want a draft horse, it's going to be 50 gold.
It's okay. I wild shape draft horse.
Okay.
I assume I've rested. at
How
some point.
long does your wild shape last? Do you remember?
I will tell you now.
Not quite long enough. I
Nowhere
suppose.
near long enough.
Oh, yeah.
Half your druid
Mule's
level,
fine.
I believe.
To
Fine,
be honest,
just we get a mule.
to be honest, I mean, a hand cart would probably be enough. So literally,
Really? For the 3 bodies, a sofa,
obviously you guys would be. No, no. Oh, the
Yeah, keep in
sofa,
mind, we
shit,
do have a
sofa.
sofa.
No, we are
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
the sofa with us, damn it.
Silly
So
me.
we have a
We're getting that
dresser
thing
or something as well.
reupholstered.
Oh fuck's sake!
Damn straight.
With goblin skin, kobold
yes.
skin,
I know, right?
nice
If we can
scaly
find it.
sofa. Oh,
Actually, you know what? I bet you
No.
kobold skin, if you tan it right, real soft.
Probably.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Man,
why is
you guys
that?
never let me play anything fun.
Okay, so you go and get a car and a draft horse, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Okay, so you now have a draft horse and a cart. It is in your possessions. There was no rental concept that you could apply. After all, how do they know you're not just going to leave with it? They don't know you.
It's fair enough.
I'm going to deduct the gold off the... Is anybody editing the party loot right now?
I can be.
Okay, could you just knock 7... oh, hang on. Could you knock 65? 65
when-
gold.
When we take a long rest, I will learn Gentle Repose, and I will ritually cast Gentle Repose on the bodies.
Oh wow, yes, that is cool.
So that they don't decay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather not have to ride with something corpseified and gross.
So it will, when we get all the stuff up and we're waiting for Niacin to get the cart, we'll take a long rest. I will pray for my 2nd level spells, and I will ritual cast 3 times.
Gentle Repose.
Gentle Repose.
Yeah, everything that you've just described happens fine. You get the 65 gold's worth of a draft horse and a cart as per the player's book, and you bring it back, you load it up, you head it out there. If you've got any good berries and rations, depending on what you want to eat, then obviously it's going to take 2 days for this total to happen, because there's going to needs to be rest, because it's going to take you a while to get there, like 12 to 14 hours, then 12 to 14 hours back. So you're going to have rest.
Okay, so we need to eat 2 days worth of stuff.
Basically. But apart from that...
we've basically long rested as well.
Yeah, you've long rested. Okay, guys. I would... Unless there's something else, but I don't think there is, I'm going to call that quest. Obviously, the session's not necessarily over, but I'm going to call the quest.
Yeah. Who's going to pay for... I guess we take the 50 gold out of the party loot?
Yeah, take it.
Yeah, it's already taken.
It's already been taken.
Yes, the cart and the horse belong to the party.
I think finally, this is the part I've been anticipating the entire adventure, guys. Actually, no. Of course, we now have to go talk and get our reward. Then we divvy the loot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
You get into Shafford. Basically, you end up having a long rest with the cart and horses. You then travel to Shafford when the first light. You start getting there late afternoon. Progress is pretty good. Our horse is, initially slightly spooked by the bodies, but it's not that bad. You get to Shafford. There's people already up and about doing their normal sort of stuff. People going around, people opening shop fronts, setting up stalls. There's a couple of the militia just wandering around, keeping an eye on things, having a little look around. Usual sort of hustle-bustle activity that you would normally see. The farmlands that you pass through on the way there are also active. People walking through their crops, etc. You go into Shafford. You're going straight to the Malisters' home, which is...
I think that's a good idea.
I think we should.
recommend it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you head off to the Malisters. You attract a little bit of attention. I'm assuming you've covered up these corpses and you're not just draping them over the cart.
The sofa is sort of over them, and also there's that flag there.
On them.
Why don't you prop them up on the sofa, but put them into poses?
Prop them up on the sofa,
like a
drape
weekend
a sheet over them,
fantasy.
or a bit of tarpaulin or something.
Oh, God.
Oh, hey there, fellow adventurer. I'm still alive right now.
Or better yet, just
Oh,
have
yeah,
them
look
lying
at that.
down
It
on the
says
bottom
like
of the
the
cart.
curtain
I mean,
eye.
seriously.
So anyway, you head up to the Malisters, and you meet up with the head of the household. I say it's not like a huge mansion or anything like that, but it's a nice house. Malisters actually run the trading company that deals with most of the shipping of all the copper from the mines in Shadford, and that goes back to Cragsholm. These are the guys, obviously, that originally recruited you. I'm assuming you're just going to spit it out that you've recovered the signet rings and the bodies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And then we also regretfully mentioned that the goblin's tree was a monstrosity that seemed to be eating their family.
Okay, he's slightly
And it spawned a
disturbed.
frog.
Spawned a frog. He's a little bit distracted by the whole... He's a bit distracted by the whole, his son and daughter are dead, to really pay much attention. Because, I mean, you get the impression...
we showed them the bodies and how barky they are.
Yeah.
They've been converted by the tree. They had been already long gone by the time we got there.
He ushers a couple of your guessing servants that work in the household, and they come out. There's another gentleman there, slightly better dressed, and he oversees this. It looks like he may be, overseeing the bodies, and they wrap them up in cloths and they take them away. he takes the signet rings, and you can see this guy, he's not hiding his emotions as such. He's just trying to keep them in check to do this dealing, because obviously, he's just, you get the impression he'd held up hope that maybe they were just captured and that they would have survived. And this obviously, although it was kind of a foolish hope, you get the impression that's like the real thing has just hit home. So he tries to keep business brief. He speaks to one of his servants, and he then disappears into the house as they're taking the bodies. The servant comes forward. Looks like he's a little bit better dressed. Maybe, he's head of the household, perhaps. And he gives you your rewards. The original reward was 125 gold each per ring. So each of you put 250 gold onto your character sheets, please.
Okay.
He mentions as well, as he's divvying out the reward to each of you, that the master's going to retire for the night. But if you stay in town, it's not a huge town, so he'll be able to find you. He may send word for you to speak to you later once once everything's been done that's necessary to deal with this, and when he's feeling more in shape to be able to speak to you. He is thankful, but now's probably not the time to be having light conversation.
Certainly.
I think now's the time to quietly leave.
I quickly once again offer my deepest condolences and tell them that we did everything we could. And then, I sort of bow, sort of curtsy slightly and leave.
Okay. So that's that. You've handed that in. You've got the reward. You did say to stick around town if you wanted, and I'm guessing you're probably going to do that at some point. As far as loot goes, I'm going to have to go through and double check a few things, because although it has been mostly laid out quite nicely, actually, as far as where it was looted from, there are a couple of things.
Did you put the big dragon rubies in that?
I just did. Pretty sure I did.
And the
Also,
gems.
Dragon gems, yeah.
Two red dragon gems.
The signet rings you can take off.
Who's going to be dealing with the loot page so that we're all doing it?
Well,
can someone who isn't me do it, just because I'm not the fastest at editing this?
Alright, I'll do it then.
Thanks.
Okay, Adrik.
Yes.
You can probably remove those signet rings, right?
Yeah, there's definitely the signet rings. They are gone unless you refuse to hand them over.
No, I'd rather like the 250 gold, thanks.
Okay. What we'll do, there are going to be some things on here that you can pretty much just say, right, we just divvy that up. It's up to you how you want to divvy it up, but ultimately there are going to be some things like all the usable equipment, like the weapons and the armor, you're pretty much going to get just 20% of the price for. Things like the jewelry, you're going to have to find someone who's going to buy that. Not many people buy stuff in the town. Gems are fairly easy to shift, though you don't necessarily know how much they're worth. The armor's easy to get rid of.
Remind us what the Durney gems even look like.
The Durney gems. Well, that's kind of the bit that I'm going to have to flick through and double check. But the Durney gems are the gems that Dern had, obviously. I mean, Dern.
Well, yeah, that's why
So,
I was asking,
presumably
because that's
what we
not
kind of need to
necessarily a
do-
description. That's just saying he's got ambiguous jewelry,
Yes.
which is cool.
Presumably
and
what we
all.
need to do is we need to go through and decide the things that we want to keep.
I'd like the moonstone earrings, please, and the moonstone necklace.
I think it's worth keeping that sword.
You definitely get the feeling that this sword
Was
is...
that a longsword?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you get the impression this is something a bit special. You've still got Sir Bradford's body, I think. Did you? Oh no, did you leave that one, or did you bring it with
No,
you?
we
No,
brought
we took all the bodies.
Okay. So you've still got his body.
Did that family take that body?
No, well, they don't know who he is. They know that
fair
he's
enough.
called Sir Bradford. They know that he came into town, and
We should
then
probably take him to the local temple or something.
there is a temple.
Yeah, let's do that.
One thing that you did pick up from the town when you passed through before the adventure is that they have quite a strict thing that if you're not affiliated with a temple and have arrangements, bodies all go to the Raven Temple. And they get
what's
dealt
the
with. It's basically, it's one of the larger temples in the town. You've got 3 main temples. that are actually in the town. You have a Pelor temple, you have a Muradin temple, and you have this Raven Queen temple. Now,
We're gonna take him to the Palor Temple, and then probably to the Raven Queen. But
Raven Queen Temple first, Adrik.
you get the impression that basically they are commissioned by the town, that if there are any bodies that are not being dealt with, disposed of properly and given their rights and everything, that they have to do it. But if you obviously go to one of the other temples and they're prepared to deal with it, then obviously they will. So if you...
I want to take the body to the Palor Temple first,
Okay.
and talk to the keeper of the Palor Temple, and see if he knows who he is. See if he knew what religion he did. Did he pass through the Palor Temple? Because if you're a worshipper of Palor and you go into town, you don't really pass up the temple.
Absolutely. No, you would have popped into this. And yeah, you know that the head priest that actually runs that small temple is called Frenor. He's a human. He runs the temple. You notice the town is, although it is predominantly humans that live in Shafford, there is a sizable dwarf population, about a quarter or so, but that's mostly because there's some sort of historical thing of dwarves having settled here a long time ago, but also because they are really good at mining, and there is a decent mine nearby. But yes, he's a human, and he's in charge of the temple. You did pop in at some point, and I'm guessing on the way through.
That's probably where I just stayed the night.
Possibly so.
In town, because I get free staying at temples of my faith.
What you won't get is completely free ceremonies for random dead people, but you never know. There might be some association for Sir Bradford.
Yeah, no, like if the temple of say the name Ferron.
Frenor.
If Frenor knows anything about Sir Bradford, then we'll take it from there. But if he doesn't, then I'm just gonna dump him at the Raven Queen's temple.
Frenor, he recognizes Sir Bradford. He makes it his job to try and know who's coming and going. He's pretty sure that Sir Bradford wasn't a follower of Palor, but he wouldn't be able to hazard a guess as to what he was a follower of. He didn't seem like a true paladin, but he claimed that he was Sir Bradford, though the origin of that title he doesn't know.
Fair enough.
Interesting.
You might not be the only person who totally is honest about their identity.
I know, right?
I mean, nobody's got anything bad to say about Sir Bradford. He seemed quite courageous. He seemed quite polite, well educated. He had some decent armor and weapons, and he went off when he heard that there was that there was potential evil to slay and people to protect. You know, their brother and sister were eager to go out and investigate the rumors, and he offered to come along.
Good at it.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't good enough at it anyway.
Well, it's a shame he didn't pack fire. I mean, seriously. Or alternately sneak attack Belek from the shadows. That worked really well.
I just still can't believe I rolled a 2 on his perception. I was thinking to myself, okay, Orkon, he's rolled an 8, he's sneaking around. If it comes to it, Belek's going to be like, oh yeah, high thief sneaking in the shadow. But no, he has to roll a 2.
He was busy monologuing.
He was. That is basically it. He was so busy monologuing and stroking his tree that he just didn't see the arrow until it was already adorning his chest.
Pretty much.
See, I was just adding to his treeness.
Yeah, well, yeah. You like wood so much here.
Yeah. So fair enough. Yeah, we'll take him to the Raven Queen Temple, and the Raven Queen Temple can deal with Sir Bradford's body.
They see you coming up to the temple. You see that there's a lady there. They don't wear black robes. They're wearing grey robes. She doesn't really say anything, but the moment she sees you with Sir Bradford's body, she brings over 2 acolytes to come over, and they take it. They don't even question it. They just seem to be eager to take the body from you and deal with it. They don't seem to ask for payment or anything. They just deal with it. They're not. I wouldn't say that they're like quiet. There's plenty of conversation going on in the temple. Even some non-acolytes who are not robed talking, but they're very matter of fact, just getting on with it.
Fair enough.
Hey, fair enough.
That's their job. That's fine.
Yep.
Good on them. Right, so should we get back to divvying the loot then?
Yeah, pretty much.
What I will have to probably do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call the stream now anyway, because stream's still going, and ultimately it is just going to be divvying loot up at this point. So thank you everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed this session.
Thanks, stream.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't see a reason why not, unless someone has any major things that they want to do instead. Next Wednesday, there should still be a session on. It'll be a little bit more towniness stuff. Pretty much that. It'll probably be a little bit of finding someone to buy the stuff that they can't just offload really easily. Meeting a few of the other characters.
Poisonous kit.
So that's going to be what it. But yeah, I've got adventures lined
up. In terms of offloading some of the stuff that we can't offload as easily, it might be worth discussing that with the merchant family when we go back in a couple of days or whatever. Because they might know.
You can absolutely
do that. That's a
delay.
really good point.
You get the impression that they deal with a lot more.
I'm not saying that they necessarily
stuff.
would be interested, but they might know who would be.
Absolutely. But we could talk
They
about
got
it.
connections.
So we can do a little bit of that now, and then next.
What's the time called that we're in?
Shadford, right?
Shadford. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
Bradford
that.
from Shadford.
You know that it originally was called Shadowford, and it's just been shortened over the time that the place has been here. Originally, when people settled, it was apparently winter when people originally settled, and the light of the mountains is just the light is blocked by the mountains that are nearby because the sun was so low. So it was always in shadow during the winter. The farms had to be quite a way out, and it's just changed from that basically.
Fair enough. Cool.
Groovy.
Right.
Anyway, so I will stop the stream now. So cheerio everybody. Hope you enjoyed it.
Toodles.